Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday night. It's Adam Wylde in for Steve Dangle. Big shoes to fill, big headspace to fill, but I do have a big head. I have a bigger head than Steve does, I think. What's going on? We're excited. We got Detroit. We got Toronto. A battle between the first place team in the division and the fifth, third last team in the division. But more importantly, in the conference, Detroit's not doing so hot. They're 14th of 16. I don't think anybody expected them to be this low. I don't know if we expected them to be good. They certainly expected to be good. But so far, a 448 points percentage. In real points, that means they got 26 points in 29 games. They're a -18, and they're 3-5 -18, by the way, in goal differential, which is different from plus minus because it's team plus minus. And it kind of tells you everything you need to know. And then, of course, 3-5-2 in their last 10 games. So, Saturday night in Toronto, some of them are probably local. They probably want to have a good performance tonight, and the Leafs can't let them do it. Producer Drew, Justin Fisher joining me tonight. But Hayden did put his stats pack forward, and I want to give him a big shout out because he's not working this one, but he still did one for us. Austin Matthews has 32 points in 24 career games against the Red Wings. 17 of those 32 points are goals. It's tied with the Jets for the third most against any team in his career because there's nothing better than beating the Jets, is there? By the way, Austin has scored the most points in his career against the Senators. He has 47 career points against the Senators and 45 against the Montreal Canadiens. So you would expect, divisional matchups, but the Jets being third kind of goes to show how much the Leafs and Jets absolutely hate each other. But we don't. Gripper Nation, welcome. Happy night. Let's have some fun. Who else is here? Oh, Robert is there too. Hello, Robert. So listen, guys, we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to play against producer Drew's old nemesis from the 90s, the Detroit Red Wings. And I feel like he's probably still hates them somewhere in his heart, somewhere in his gut. I mean, the reality is that, Chris Draper was diving, wasn't he? When Claude Lemieux hit him from behind, that was just a big dive, even though it messed up his face. And, the Avalanche went on to win the cup, but producer Drew knows they probably should have won it the next year too, right, Drew? See? Exactly. It's bullshit, says Drew. Can they hear you on the stream, Drew? Okay, well, so Drew, every once in a while, I might pull to you, so you might want to jump on it. But Detroit and Colorado had, I think, the best 1-2 of the 90s. They were the teams that hated each other the most, and they probably had the best successful back half. Now it's been a couple years since the Avs won a cup. They didn't have to go through Detroit to do it because it's been almost a decade since the Red Wings won the cup. And hey, if there are any Red Wing fans in the chat, man, I gotta know. How we feeling about this team? Because listen, it's not too late, but it is getting late. And this defense core, especially once you get past Evans and Moritz Seider, Ben Sherratt and Jeff Petrie, the all 2010s second pair, Eric Gustafsson and Justin Hall. Leaf fans are pretty familiar with Justin Hall. Good penalty killer. Great guy. Kind of big for nothing, though. Michael Rasmussen, Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond are your top line. You got DeBrincat, Comfort, Kane. Patrick Kane, by the way, having a low-key bad year. Like, I know he came back from that hip resurfacing thing, and a lot of players haven't been the same since, but this guy's got 10 points in 24 games. You would think that they probably want more from a second-line guy. As a Wings fan, fire Lalonde, hire Woodcraft. That's from Adam Kerr. Hey, Adam, are the Oilers back after the W today? You know what? I think the Oilers are actually all the way back. Drew, what do you think? You have any thoughts on the Oilers? Are they back? Are they to be contended with? Drew says they're still bad until they fix their defense and goalie. Chetta Johnson, we're waiting for the next 2 years and the prospects. Didn't you say that 5 years ago? Sorry. Detroit Porsche is definitely not happy with my consistency, says Devin. Well, listen, isn't it Detroit Porsche Northeast? I hope they join us on the chat tonight. The Iser plan has capped out. Mike Mack. I don't know what this Red Wing teams is supposed to be. Now, we're going to talk a lot of smack before this game starts, being in Leaf Nation and obviously being the number one team in the division. Just throwing that out there, number one team in the division. However, this is exactly the kind of game the Leafs can and have in the past just bottled. Hey, here's a team that's struggling and not doing well. Wow, it's so crazy how they keep finding their identity against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we're going to hope that doesn't happen tonight. We're going to hope they bring it tonight. What do we got going on? Oh, I thought we had a thing on the ice. Okay, so they're going to play the national anthem here, which, I mean, honest with you, I'm still against it. I'm dead against the national anthem on television. We know what it sounds like. We're not in grade school anymore. Please, God, stop putting this on television. Okay, producer Drew's got to complain about what I said. Okay, so Drew says, who says dash 18 when you're talking about goal differential and minus 18? Dash is something that one of my coaches used to say when I played for the Toronto Young Leafs of the SHA, the Scarborough Hockey Association, which no longer exists. So he'd be like, you're a dash 2 tonight, or out, don't be in the dash column or whatever. So that's where it comes from. And should I say minus? Is it more exacting to say minus? Is it more producer Drew, analytics community, which Drew is, right, Drew? Full-blown analytics community. Is it better to say that, like regression to the mean? Is it better to say that too? Yeah, see, Drew says the best is positive regression because you can't go positively the wrong way. Apparently, Drew, you can. And I made the argument this week, and I'm not sure if you heard it, that maybe perhaps the math people got the words wrong and they should leave the words to the word people. And then a bunch of math people emailed me and said, actually, we're very exact with our math and our words. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to fight this anymore. I will say regress to the mean, but I still think it's progressing to the mean because you're pro, you're moving forward. Hockey Night in Canada coming to you from Detroit. No Canadian team playing right now for Hockey Night in Canada. Yeah, there are no hockey teams in Canada at home, but that's okay. Still Hockey Night in Canada, right? Chantel Zeller, boo math people. Agreed. What have they ever done for us? Am I right? Fall, I still think for games between Canadian and American teams, they should play both anthems and encourage fans to sing loudly as possible, like in Casablanca, but without the Nazis. Jeez, that's a reference. That's a reference. David Owens, extra pump for tonight's game for some reason. Let's absolutely go. David, welcome. David coming in from Kingston. Also, I believe my wife and daughter are watching because my daughter doesn't know what I do for a living, and I keep leaving at night, and she's like, where are you going? And so my wife, Natalie, and my daughter, Everly, are probably watching at this point, and I just want to say hi to them. I love you. Everly, this is what Daddy does. Partially what Daddy does right here. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? The away fan, insane take on not hearing the anthems. Do you even love your country? Listen, I've heard the Canadian national anthem more than I've heard Despacito. And I was a pop radio jock when Despacito was the number one song in the world. Listen, Canadian national anthem, I don't mind listening to it during the game, although I don't think it's really needed. But I think the anthem too much. It's just too much anthem, right? It's like, hey, I love a beer. I don't want 12. 1 beer is good. 2 beers is good. 12 beers, too many beers. I can't do that anymore. I'm not as young as I used to be. And by the way, to everybody who was gifted a subscription, that is from our friend David Owens from Kingston. He was at our show, and David has actually hosted us. He is the manager of the Mansion Bar in Kingston, Ontario. Charlie Burke, anti-patriot Adam Wylde. Hunter Campbell, I will take 1 million beers, please. No, here's the thing. 1 beer and 2 beers was fine. 10 beers, no. 1 million beers? Okay, fine. Beef Cube, I'm 14 beers deep at Chili's. So what I'm hearing is we should replace the anthem with Despacito. You know what? I don't hate it. Here in the UK, anthems are only played at football finals. Russell, that's because we don't have to pretend to be all patriotic in Europe the same way we do in North America. I'm not sure where it comes from. I love my country. Standing up and listening to a song that I've heard a bazillion times doesn't make me love it more or less. It's just kind of there. Ricky Peck 94. Ricky Pecks. I hope that Ricky works out. I hope he does a lot of chest day. So you could just call him, "What's up, Ricky Pecks?" Gifting 10 subs. And by the way, Ricky, thank you. I know that you're a Rangers fan, and I heard it didn't go well today. Yeah. So the LA Kings, who are sneaky good and no one's talking about, kind of beat up on the Rangers today. I got to be honest with you. I'm waiting to see what the Rangers' next move is here, because even when they traded Trouba, it kind of felt like, okay, so you got rid of Trouba, and you're going to let the younger guys come in, but what else are you going to do? Lindgren's struggling. K-Andre Miller's looking soft. What are we going to do about the actual systems you guys are playing? Which is why I tweeted out earlier this week, what do Rangers fans think of Peter Laviolette? And I think I would be curious to hear what you guys think. I just think it might be coaching time. It might be coaching time. People are saying it's a little early. I don't know. Zoe with the super chat. Hey, Leaf fans. Sorry, the Leaf fans. Leaf games on NHL Network in the US is so annoying. I swear it's impossible to watch half of Leaf games. Why is that, Zoe? Why is it so hard to watch a Leaf game on NHL Network? Yeah, I'd love to know, because I keep hearing from American fans that it is really, really hard to watch a hockey game. I was talking to Shayna from The Athletic like last year about this, and she ran me through what it takes in the ESPN Plus app and what it like with the TNT app, and it sounds a lot. Sounds like it's a lot. I just think, Jay McCrew, this has to be the longest anthem. Well, it's the American one. Ricky Peck, it did not go well tonight. To me, coaching is not the problem. The players are. Here's the thing with the players, though, is a lot of them have no move clauses. How are you going to feel when Chris Kreider gets traded? It's going to be weird not to see him in a Rangers jersey, but it kind of feels like he might be next, doesn't it? Okay, let's get the Drew. How do I see that? Okay, let's get have a look at the out of town scoreboard. We got the Blackhawks and Devils here, and it's too small. I can't see this. Yeah, here we go. 4-1. New Jersey beat the Chicago Blackhawks. The Kings obviously beat up on the Rangers. 5-1. The Wild, not really a surprise here, beat the Flyers 4-1, and the Wild just are one of the best teams in the league this year. At this point, I don't, unless something goes wildly wrong, you should expect the Wild to beat the Flyers like that. And the Edmonton Oilers scored 4 in the second period to double up on the Vegas Golden Knights. And this is a big one because the Western Conference is starting to look a little spicy. And the Edmonton Oilers kind of need some points right now. They kind of need to bring it back up. If you look at where they are in the division, that brings them within striking distance of the Vegas Golden Knights and the LA Kings. The Kings won today. Obviously, the Knights lost. They've all played 30 games. 41 points for the Golden Knights, 39 points for the Kings. And even after that kind of crappy start, the Edmonton Oilers at 38 points. That's pretty good. It's kind of crazy, eh? The Toronto Maple Leafs have 38 points. They're first in their division. The Edmonton Oilers have the same amount, and they are fourth. So Drew just informed me. Oh, Ville Husso, yeah. 0-4-2. Has not won a game. 374 goals against average. That save percentage didn't look so hot either. I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at Ville Husso and thinking, please don't get your win against the Maple Leafs tonight. Please, please, God. The other thing is, I missed a super chat in there. Wazoo, will we ever experience playoff gritty? Well, you could still listen. The Flyers had that playoff spot until the last second last year when the Caps stole it from them. The game has started, by the way. I'll do a clap at the next face-off to get us ready and going. But it just started a few seconds ago, and I'll update times as we go. And I think Drew is able to actually put the clock on there. And there's Max Pacioretty, 2 goals and an assist on Thursday night, which was pretty sick. He's also just been crushing guys, which is also pretty cool. I like the crushing guys part. What's that? Oh, wow. That is a monster hit. Tony West gifting 5 subscriptions. Ben Sherratt going after Max Pacioretty. Okay, I got to have another look at that. DeBrincat looks like at least the wind was knocked out of him. Is it okay? Is it bad? Okay, so Drew's got a bit of a. He says it's not a great hit. Here we go. Oh, it's knee on knee. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. That's why Sherratt grabbed him. That's not good. Um, yeah, don't love that start. Don't need that penalty to start. I think he's probably going to have to answer for that one later on tonight. RB Rusiri. So I'm going to try to pronounce your names, guys. It would have probably been 4-2 for the Wild, but Mitch Koff stopped his own team from scoring accidentally. I did see that. Keep your stick on the ice, except for when it's blocking the puck. So what happens here? DeBrincat, I think. I want to be let's be an honest broker here. Do you really think it feels like DeBrincat shifted Pacioretty pretty quickly, and Pacioretty just couldn't keep up with it? I don't know that that's the most intentional knee I've ever seen, but it certainly is a penalty. Yeah, it's 2 minutes. So, like, I think DeBrincat just dangled him, man. First Adam stream of the year, Reppin' Gripper Nation. Yo, what's up, Sherwin? Thanks so much for joining. 19:02 left in the first period. I'm gonna start clapping for faceoffs too. I always forget. Connor Anderson. Hey, Adam, be nice to my wings. They are bad. Listen, they don't have to be bad. They don't have to be bad. And the Toronto Maple Leafs in seasons past, although this year's been a little different, have always been the get right game for other players' teams. And I don't like that. Nice to see Bobby McMahon back for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, too. He's missed a few games this year with various injuries, didn't have the best start, was starting to heat up, and then, of course, gets injured along with 7 other Leafs forwards. Surprise, surprise, the Leafs didn't score a lot of goals when 7 forwards were out, but they weathered it. And mostly because of Nylander, Marner, and Tavares. They've been great. Tony West, we need to get you guys to Newfoundland, even if it's in the offseason. Lots of fans from the far east. Well, you know what, Tony? We would love to be there. I would love for prices of flights to come down, but I want to come hang out with you guys on the Rock. I think we'd have a blast. We'd bring producer Drew, and we'd kiss the fish. What's the fish thing? Kissing the fish. We have to do that. Screeched, right? You get screeched in. Ooh! Oh, man. Crossbar, and Timmins got away with one there, I think. Wasn't in the best spot. Billy Whitehead gifted a sub. Canadian Girl 83 gifted a sub. And Kathy Lawson gifting 10 subs. Man, you guys have been so generous tonight. Thank you so much. Oh, man. Tanev made the right move there. I don't know if you saw it with Wool, but it's always a little bit risky when you push it to your goalie to try to cover it up. You always hope he sees it. Oof. Okay. So now that the penalty is officially killed, and that felt like it went by fast, I do think we can get this game officially underway. One shot for the Detroit Red Wings on that power play. 17-19. Here we go. Face off. Wings win it. Leafs get it. Max Domi. Breakout pass. Fraser Minton. Max Domi. This is going to be an interesting line. And Bobby McMahon. I want to know what this line looks like. For me tonight, this is the Leafs' most interesting line because we don't know what they're going to do. And they've been trying to find a spot where Max Domi is really going to produce well. I keep telling you, put him with Austin Matthews, but Max Pacioretty and Matthew Nyes have looked pretty good on those top 2 lines. It's hard to take them off. And they do need to get depth scoring from somewhere. And you'd think Fraser Minton's played pretty well. Max Domi's been injured, but he's played well when he's been in the lineup. And Bobby McMahon was just coming on. And I think this is kind of the perfect role for all 3 of them. We're going to find out if Fraser Minton is the man. Is he the guy that they need at third line center going into the playoffs? Drew has seen Stanley Cup winning teams. Drew, Who was the Avs third line center going to win the Stanley Cup 2 years ago? JT Compher. And let me ask you something. Was JT Compher important and valuable? Yes. So Drew says, of course. This is why I've been so obsessed with this all year. People have been messaging me like, what do you care so much about the third line center? Listen, this is going to matter. JT Compher, by the way, who's playing tonight. This is going to matter when we get deep into the playoffs. You're going to need, you need to know that Minton can actually be that guy. Remember, he's 20 years old. It doesn't have to be this year. If it is him, that's great. It means they don't have to make a trade. But I just want to know that this guy is going to be able to hold and actually handle some of the things that are going to be expected of him, because it's going to be intense and he is going to be overwhelmed. And is he going to be ready for it? Drew said, you have to remember, Nazem Kadri broke his hand, missed 7 games sometimes. And sometimes you gotta step up and play a bigger role. Can you see Fraser Minton playing in John Tavares' spot? Can you see him playing? Can you see somebody else playing in Austin Matthews' spot? Maybe it's not Fraser, but you know what I'm saying? I do think this team is lacking another center. But what a play there! Tic-tac-toe. Marner, Matthews to Tanev, and it was a really good save by Ville Husso. Tanev, I think, if he had just angled it to the right a little bit more, that's a goal. 15:30 left in the first period. Not a bad first shot for the Leafs there. I'd like to see them get more. This game was kicked off by a kneeing penalty on Max Pacioretty. Unintentional, we think. It still doesn't feel good, though. And so now we're finally starting to see their actual 5-on-5 lines hit. William Nylander cycling the puck, running in front. Oh! William Nylander's drawn a penalty coming across the ice. Beautiful. That's what's so great about Nylander's game. He's got that possession thing, and he can kind of go where he wants with it, and it causes defensemen to panic and hook and grab and hold. We'll see what this one is. This Matthews play. Matthews, oh. And it looks like it's going to be Patrick Kane, and it's going to be holding. He's got both arms around his hip, kind of like it's at the club. 15:08, Leafs first power play. We got 2 power plays in the first 5 minutes of this game. Tavares on the draw. Leafs are back to having Morgan Rielly on the first unit. Matthew Knies is moving down to the second unit. They were running an all forwards power play unit, and I think it worked pretty well. But, there's something about human beings, and, we need a defenseman out there. Not that Morgan Rielly's a bad guy to have. Marner at the point, over to Rielly. 2 guys in front of the net. Matthews, Tavares. You got Tavares high, Matthews low. Nylander along the end boards. Marner with a fake slapper. Say that again, Drew. They're not. They're not. Drew said they're just doing the stupid 5-4 power play anymore. They're not. It's nice, isn't it? 1:23 left in the power play. Puck gets by Morgan Rielly. Couple of really good scoring chances there. It's a good start. They are going to leave this unit out. They probably get another 20, 30 seconds out there before they switch it up. And they are offside crossing the blue line. I'm assuming Berube is going to leave them out there for this. Yeah, the 5-forward thing is all done. I'm curious. Okay, they did switch it up. I'm curious to see this second unit. Domi, Knies, Pacioretty, Ekman Larson, and Connor Timmins. So they're going to run 2. Oh, okay, Nylander's out there. Never mind. They're going to leave Nylander out there. It was listed as not that, but Nylander will double shift the power plays. Kind of interesting, eh? Of all the guys you would have said, yeah, we should double shift him on the power play a couple years ago, that name would not be William Nylander. It just kind of goes to show how far he's come. Oh, Domi passes out. Ekman Larson at the point. Along the half boards, Domi. Puck is deflected. Pacioretty. And it is dumped down. 30 seconds to go in this power play. 13:38 left in the first. Shots are 4-2 Red Wings. Why am I saying Oilers? Knies gets stopped up by Evason. Okay, not a great second unit effort there. I mean, it's a little early to judge, but I didn't love that. There's 10 seconds left in this power play. Matthews line back out there. They're going to go back to 5-on-5. And I'm assuming the Connor Timmins, Oliver Ekman-Larsson pairing is going to change too. There's Timmins out there, tries to make a pass. Matthews along the boards, behind the net. McMahon is out there looking for rebounds. Marner, Matthews, in his skates, able to hang on to it. 3 Red Wings on him. Marner back to Timmins. Shot goes wide. It's 5-2 in the shots for Detroit and Toronto, although I would say Toronto has squarely outchanced the Red Wings. They haven't put it on the net, which is a very Leaf thing to say. Oh, so they didn't give Simon Benoit the benefit of the doubt there, crossing the red line and firing the puck. That happens in the NHL all the time. Steve brought that up on the podcast this week, and it's true. Like, there's so many times where the player is clearly not across the red line, and the ref goes, forget it. We'll give it to you anyway. Not that time with Benoit. Maybe he hasn't earned that respect yet. By the way, the chat is 84% Leaf fans, 15% Red Wings fans. 15%. That's actually higher than I thought. Hey, Adam, I'm sorry. I love the Leafs, but I placed a bet on the Wings. Leafs haven't won a game when Steve is doing an event or on tour, so I couldn't risk it. Well, SLS, have you considered this? And I don't believe in jinxes, so we'll see where this goes. But did you know that the Leafs have not lost yet on my streams? Should have thought about that before you placed that bet, huh? Huh? Zoe says, to watch the NHL Network, you need cable, not streaming like Hulu. Between ESPN Plus, ESPN, ABC, TNT, Prime, and NHL Network, it's just too much money. Yeah, well, listen, there's always Yarm 80 Plus. Cassie, past 1K during Steve's stream. We are up to 1071 now. There you go, Cassie. Oh, Cassie, did you drop subs? Cassie, you rule. Thank you, Cassie. Sherwin, I'm a huge Wings fan. Not sure we're bad. We're just not that fun to watch, which is even worse, to be honest with you. The whole point of hockey is it's an entertainment product. Something the New Jersey Devils made the entire NHL forget for like 5 years in the early 90s. Thank you, Lou Lamoriello. Oh man, that Wazoo. Steve should come out for a Bills Mafia tailgate. Detroit scores. Let's see how this goes in here. Leaf fan on TV giving the thumbs down. Looks like it was Michael Rasmussen. Not sure if it was tipped. Wool is saying goaltender interference. Berube's looking at it on the bench. So Rasmussen's in front. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. No, that's not goaltender interference. That's called being in front of the net and the defenseman not doing anything about it. And what's frustrating about that is Tanev is trying, but Michael Rasmussen. Let's look it up. Michael Rasmussen is very tall, and I'm just going to pull up his actual stats. He's 6'6". He's a tough guy to move. 6'6", 220 pounds, taller on skates. That's tough to move, even for Chris Tanev. No, we got a high stick here. Timmins plays it. Detroit didn't want to. And a nice little play, too. Slap pass over to John Tavares, who gets it to Nylander. Last time Nylander had the puck in the offensive zone, he drew a penalty. Here he goes again. Oh, just puts that backhand wide. Nylander behind the net. Whoa, nice little pass over to Tavares, just a little behind him, but it still hits him. Timmins getting fought at the line. Nice little tip there by Max Pacioretty on the Timmins slap pass. So it is Jeff Petrie's goal, by the way. Michael Rasmussen ran interference in terms of what the goalie could see, but it is Jeff Petrie's first goal of the year. Listen, it's what I get for making fun of him and Ben Sherratt, the all old man defense pairing. Here goes Nyes. Along the half board to Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner on the half board now to Matthews. Puck cycling good. Nyes in front of the net. He's in the right spot. They're doing the right things. Shots are 4-7 or 7-4 Detroit. Ekman-Larsson cycles it back behind for Morgan Rielly. 9:14 left in the first period. And that puck misses Bobby McMahon, and it is an icing, folks. So we get 9:09 in the first. Let's check in with the chat here. Let's have a little chat with the chat. Cassie, bribing Adam into being a Penguins truther. Tristan Jarry. Man, listen, Tristan Jarry has been on a weird run. Not great that he's already down 1-0 to the Ottawa Senators. Is he starting tonight? I think he is. I'm just not convinced with the Pens yet, Cassie. I'm just not convinced. It takes a little longer to convince me. Prophet asks, do you miss the run and gun Leafs of the past, or you enjoy the more boring game they play now? I don't find this boring. Drew, do you think this is... Drew, can you come on for a sec? Can everybody hear you? I want to ask Drew what he thinks. Because here's the thing. I'll tell you how I did feel watching the Leafs in previous years. I felt like they got bullied. I felt like they scored a bunch of goals, and that was super exciting. Oh, what a save by Joseph Woll. Come on now, baby. That was a great save. It was a 2-on-1. You know how we feel about those. 2-on-1 for Detroit. And a great blocker save by Joseph Woll. Almost another one. That time he would have had to make it on the glove side. Drew, you won? Oh, there's a high stick on Fraser Minton, and it is not called. It was just a bit of a follow-through, and it did hit Fraser Minton in the face, and the ref said, nah, it's cool. It's cool. He's a rookie. He can handle it.
They can hear me.
All right, Drew, quick question for you.
Yes.
All right. People are calling the Leafs play boring this year. Are the Leafs boring this year?
No. Winning is not boring.
Winning is not boring. Okay. What do you see differently from the Leafs this year that you have in the past, being an outside observer who is not a Leaf fan?
They can actually defend. Chris Tanev.
They can actually defend. And was Chris Tanev a fun guy to play against when he was in Dallas or Calgary?
No, he shut down the McKinnon line in the playoffs last year.
Thank you. And this is what it is, man. This is what it is. I think that the Leafs. Thank you, Drew. I think the Leafs are more exciting when they win. I think that Toronto is unused to defense. I think in the last couple of years we're unused to stable goaltending as well. And this is what it looks like when you've got stable goaltending. I'll point you to the New Jersey Devils, who basically defended their way to championships in the early 90s. And I'm not saying that the Leafs are anything like that, but I do need to, do need defense, right? And people blame the offense for disappearing in the playoffs. I think the offense disappeared in a lot of cases because they didn't have the right people there. Obviously, Nylander and Matthews last year sucked that they couldn't play. But, I think part of it too was they were constantly hemmed in their own zone. And it was always more dangerous when they were hemmed in than other teams being hemmed in their own. Will Gallo, Oilers fan from Kalamazoo. Go Broncos. Hey, like this if you're watching on Yarm AT Plus plan, the only way to watch Sportsnet in the States. There you go. Oh, Matthews with a great shot there. Here comes Nyes. Nice little move at the blue line. There are 5 Red Wings and 2 Leafs, and the Red Wings are collapsing, and it's a shot by McCabe, and it's over the net. What a look he had. Mitch Marner to the front, and it goes in. Big goal, Mitch Marner. Holy smokes. Hey, Mitch Marner's shooting. He shot the puck. Look what happened. Love it when Mitch Marner shoots the puck. We love it. Big goal. Big goal for Mitch Marner. Gets the Leafs on the board. And let's be honest here. This is just good old-fashioned cycling. Oh, okay. So it was a save. So Jake McCabe had a save, a beauty shot, saved by Ville Husso. Marner with the shot, and it kind of just squeaks through. It's a little bit of traffic, a little bit low. Okay, yeah, man, that is a Marner's 16th career goal against the Red Wings, the most against any team in the league. He's got their number. Robert Bett says this team, you take away half of them because of injuries, and they'll be like coming over the hill with the injuries. But 50 plus years watching this team, nothing surprises me. Oh, are we getting we got a challenge for offside? And Drew is saying it's offside. Yeah, it looks like it is offside. Yeah, I think Matthews was offside there. That sucks ass. That stinks. Cassie, having boring games isn't a bad thing. Sometimes I wish the Penguins would play boring hockey and play some defense. LMFAO. Did Jari let in one on the first shot of the game again? Yeah, that's for sure offside. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. I don't like the rule. Yeah, David Owens, refer to the last podcast combo. Exactly. I know. It looks offside to me. I don't know how that. I don't know. Yeah, I just got to listen. I'm a Leaf fan, but I got to be honest. Sure feels offside. Okay, here we go. We got the call. It's offside. Son of a gun. Okay. All right. Well, at least the Leafs know they can beat Husso. They did. Might not have counted, but it's still. What's that true? Drew says, thanks, Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene is Drew's favorite player. Has he ever told you that? Kidding. It's not. It's not. Yeah, that sucks. I do think the challenge rule should be amended, as Scarlet Knight 456 is saying in the chat. I agree, but they're not right now. I think it was actually a Detroit broadcaster who suggested that the outside of the blue line should be where the offside line is, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. It just would interrupt play a little bit less. Aaron Brobovich, I hate this stupid offside stuff. It ruins the game. Jeff Merrick's always said that, what if you just got rid of offsides altogether? I think that fundamentally changes the game. I think you need offsides, but I think there are ways that you can do this where you don't waste as much time. And I always talk about this, and people are bored of hearing it, but I don't know if anybody in hockey watches tennis, but somehow in tennis, they're able to do a line rule, or they have the technology to put it in the ice or to put it in the grass or in the clay or whatever they're playing tennis on, and they are able to know instantly whether something is offside. And I think you could eliminate plays like that where you're going for 30 or 40 seconds after the offside by just going, you cross let's say you cross the blue line and you're offside. Boom. Okay, now we know you're offside. Play is blown dead immediately. There should be some lights that come up. You know what I mean? Just bothers me. They should do the same thing with the goal line too. Nolan Pittman, ironic, it's Ken Daniels commentating on this game. Ken Daniels is a guy I agree with because that was his idea. Ken Daniels from the Detroit Red Wings. Canadian Girl 83, of course it's offside when Mitch shoots the puck. I know. I'm hoping that he now feels like, well, now I got to go get one back. He'll shoot again. Don't you think? Three of the greatest goal scorers in the same building tonight. Ovi, Mike Gartner, and which Wilson? Wilson? Deb Beneke. They've had that tech for years. Old men just don't want to change. I bet it's a finances thing. I bet they just don't want to spend the money on it. But I think they should do it for goal lines, and I think they should do it for offsides. Especially in the playoffs when you've got a goalie sitting on a puck like an egg and you can't tell if the puck's in the net. Like, if the goal is to actually get the call right, then we should know where the puck is. in the net. Did it cross the line or did it not cross the line? There has to be a way. Also, we just blew through like 10 minutes there, and we're right back to where we were. Oh, Max Domi with a nice little play. Turn it over and turns it back over. Got a little stick check there. Again, we're watching this third line tonight, chat. Gripper Nation, we are looking out for line 3. Domi, Minton, McMahon. The DMD line. Drew wants to know how I feel about Domi. I think Max Domi had a good start, and he then got injured in the Montreal game, and it was a pretty nasty injury, and he tried to play through it. And so he's looked not effective because he was playing through an injury that he shouldn't have been playing through. I think that's what happened. I think that Domi's got an incredibly gifted playmaking ability. I think that he's less bad on defense. He used to be rough on defense. And I think he's exactly the type of attitude they need in the dressing room, and that is a big thing with the Leafs. They need that kind of attitude. I'd like to see him score some goals. I'd like to see him shoot the puck. I like Domi. I like him for the price. And this 15-game pointless streak he's on is the longest of his career. This is not something that happens to Max Domi. I think it also speaks to the fact that his role hasn't been defined with the team yet. He's been injured, but last year it was pretty clear towards the end of the year what he was going to do. He was going to play with Matthews and Bertuzzi. They were going to light it up. It was awesome. Now, you got him with McMahon and Minton, two guys he's barely played with his entire career. We don't know if they have any sort of strategy together, if they have any chemistry. That's why I keep saying we probably might need a veteran third line center. I would really love like a Brock Nelson or a Ryan O'Reilly. Turnover by Pacioretty in the Leafs offensive zone. 5 minutes to go in the first period. Shot on Joseph Woll. He stands tall. Red Wings kind of take it away from him before he's able to cover it up. Hot Lettuce says, "What's up, Gripper Nation?" Yeah, anyway, to finish it off on Max Domi, he's not necessarily like a play driver, but he's a play creator. I like the opportunities he makes. So once he gets back up to game speed, takes a few games to do that. I want to see him on the line with a legitimate finisher. It's a bummer that it didn't work out with him and Robertson, but Robertson's just not. He's worked hard, just isn't the play has just not been there. I wonder if a guy like Nick Robertson would work well on like a high flying team like the Avs. Feel like that would be his jam. Drew says he'd be benched in 10 seconds. Well, maybe the first 9 he'd have a scoring opportunity. Here you go. Mitch Marner out there flying. Definitely wants that goal back. .342 left in the first period. Drew's got the score clock up. God bless him. Look at Drew getting that score clock up there. That's not easy to do, kids. I don't know. I still don't know how he does it. He's explained it to me a couple times, and I still don't know how he does it. It's much harder than you'd think. There's Connor Dewar working it through. We haven't seen much of this fourth line this game, but they have been extremely effective and have constantly created offensive zone opportunities, which I think is awesome. If you're the fourth line, the best you can hope for is a mid-center, like a mid-ice face-off to a defensive zone face-off. You turn that into an offensive zone face-off, you've done your job for the day. The occasional goal is good too. Connor Dewar had such a great outwork a guy play a couple games ago. And Pontus Holmberg scoring on that play was awesome. Tavares, Nylander up to, I think that's Morgan Riley. Oh, play is blown dead. Or no, there's Tavares back with Patrick Kane, and Patrick Kane misses the net. Thank goodness. That is not the Patrick Kane I remember who used to chew the Leafs up and spit them out. Cassie says, I sent Drew Jari's goals against from the Penn Sens game. Oh, no. Oh, no. Jari was 4-0 last week, wasn't he? 4-0 with like a sub 2 goals against average. The guy was crazy. Pucks and Paperback says, what happened for Mitch's goal to be taken away? He was offside. Matthews was actually offside to get in there. That's what happened. So Leafs did have a goal. It was taken back. Lane Hudson got his first NHL goal. Habs fans will be thrilled about that. Although, honestly, if you ask Habs fans, he's already won the Norris Trophy. Cosmo Kramer, Cassie's basically like an executive producer at SDPN. True. Okay, in the chat right now, if you look and you see the name Natalie with Steve's head next to it, that's my wife. And she's saying it's too early to be nervous, right? And this is what watching hockey with Natalie is. If the Leafs go down even slightly, she's been burned and tortured psychologically by this franchise for so long that she thinks that a Saturday night, December the 14th, the Leafs are in trouble because there's 3 minutes left against a close to last place team. But she doesn't trust it. And who can blame her? Drew says she's smart. Drew's watched more at Leaf hockey than anybody who's not a Leaf fan should, to be honest. People are asking about the crotches next to me. Yeah, that's me as Johnny Cage. That's Jesse as the referee, because when Jesse goes to hockey games, he wears an NHL crest and goes, I hope both teams have a good time. Everybody saying hi to Natalie in the chat. Tyler, I think Kane's last productive season is already behind him. Might be saying different after 82. Yeah, who knows? Deb says, Natalie, I feel you. Years of game sevens for the Caps. Yeah, the Caps have lost a lot. So the Caps should have won a lot more championships in the last 10 years. Like, they should have had at least 2, maybe 3. That was a great hockey team, but they, like the Leafs, couldn't get it done in the playoffs. Couldn't get it done. Hey, Drew. We got Bills Lions this weekend. I know you're a Bills fan. You think the Bills are going to get slapped? Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Drew says bet on the Lions because the Bills defense is just not good enough. Also, I can hear a baby in the background because Drew has a baby at home, and I'm not. Are him and his wife sleeping yet? Drew, are you guys sleeping yet? 4 hours. Oh man. Oh, I remember those days, and I'm so glad that we're beyond those days now. Marner at the point. Drew and his wife, kind of like Steve and his wife. Just, although Drew's baby's a little bit younger than Steve's. That's sleep stuff, man. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing about having a baby, except for actually having one physically, which Drew and I didn't have to worry about. Cassie, how you feeling about the Steelers' next stretch? I'm feeling nervous. They're playing good teams. Had a bit of a lighter schedule. Now it's going to get tough. We're going to find out what they're made of. But we need a couple more wins, and it's like Tomlin's millionth season where they're above 500. So I don't know. I'm thrilled with how the Steelers have done this year. I am shocked by how the 49ers have done this year. I knew they were getting older, but I didn't know they were that bad. Oh, here we go. Chantel says, I hope Drew's children grow up to be Leafs fans. Drew, how would you handle that? Drew says adoption. That's the end of the first period. Canadian Girl 83 wants to know how old Drew, how old is your second child, your baby? 2 months. Okay, so it's probably what, another 6 months before you guys can sleep again? Oh, do you get it turned around quick? It took Everly till she was 8 months old before she was sleeping full nights regularly. Okay. Justin is playing Steve in fantasy football this weekend, and it is the playoffs. He started Brock Purdy. Yikes. Jet Legends. Hey, Adam. Just got off work, 11 a.m. here in Adelaide, Australia. Happy to see you live. Well, we are happy to see you here. Jenna. Hey, Adam. What do you think of making the blue line narrower? Won't solve the problem, but might make the offside challenges less frequent. That's a good idea. Just, I don't know. I don't know fully what the correct solution is, but offside reviews are about as exciting as watching the national anthem on television. So I understand needing to get the call right. I want them to get to the conclusion quicker. Does that make sense? Can we shorten the amount of time? Just say, oh, well, let's call up to Toronto. They call it in. Boom, done. Like, the refs shouldn't have to talk to each other. Go ahead, Drew. Drew says if the ref can't figure it out in 2 minutes or less, it's a goal. And I completely agree with that. The whole point, at least from head office, is it's got to be like, and this is a quote from Freege's column this week, dead wrong. It's got to be dead wrong. It's got to be Matt Duchene wrong for them to review. So Canadian Girl 83 says, oof, good luck with the sleep, Drew. All right. Now, Drew, what are we going to play for the intermission here? What do we get going on? With Stolarz out, what are the Leafs going to do with their goaltending situation? So we're going to play a little bit of that, and then we're going to come back and hang out for the second period, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's have a look. Tony Stolarz from the LFR.
Oh, Tone.
Was not available for the third period. Frank Saravalli.
Second period,
excuse me. Frank Saravalli reported almost immediately that they don't expect it to be...
Adam wasn't wrong. He wasn't available.
It's true.
Yeah.
He wasn't available for overtime either, even though there wasn't any. But.
Yeah, he wasn't available.
Yeah.
Adam was right.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah. Thank you. So Frank Saravalli reported immediately, basically, that they don't expect it to be that serious. Darren Dreger said this morning that he'll be undergoing tests, but didn't speak to the validity of Frank's report or back it up in any way. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means he didn't have the sources. I'm not suggesting that. I am not suggesting that. But I think, listen, it's interesting when two insiders are talking about the same story and they don't parrot each other. It means that they've got different people telling them different things.
Dreger has a way of conveying a message. He was very interesting with a Ranger story recently, I will just say.
Yes.
I don't think he saw eye to eye with Larry Brooks.
I don't think a lot of the media saw eye to eye with Larry Brooks.
No.
No. I don't know how would Frank have known that quickly.
I think he probably has a source in the equipment staff.
No, but like I don't
during the game.
I don't know like how if the Leafs knew.
Well, because he hasn't gone under testing.
I don't know if Stolarz knew.
I think he was checking to see like did he snap an ACL or something like that.
Oh,
and that from what we understand didn't happen. Remember, he's got like two knees that he's had to completely reconstruct.
Anthony Stolarz has a history of knee injuries, which is frightening.
Troubling. Yeah.
He's also, I think by the end of last night, he had the second best save percentage in the league behind Philip Gustafsson.
Right. So, it's
Joseph Wool's fifth.
So this is the thing. I think at one of our events, somebody said, "Okay, so like they should trade Wool now, right? They have Stolarz," and I'm like, "No, they're gonna need both.
They're gonna need both.
This is why you have both.
This is why." And they called up Dennis Hildeby, and I got news for you. He's gonna play games unless Stolarz is fine and makes his return to the lineup. The Leafs have, I think it's 3 straight weeks with back-to-backs.
Yep.
And Hildeby, I think, and it's Wool, right? Like. God bless the guy, but like the Leafs have 2 great goalies right now, and you're way more worried about one of them getting hurt, and it's not Stolarz. It's Wool.
Yep.
Keeping him healthy. So you got to think if Stolarz is out for all 3 of those back-to-backs, that's at least 3 Hildeby games.
Yep.
And you're probably going to want to get him more.
Artur Akhtimov.
Just on the goalie thing, Nick Barden in the press box pointed out that like it should be Matt Murray time, but it's because he covers the Marlies. He knows that Matt Murray left a couple of games ago with an undisclosed injury.
It's unbelievable.
And is just always injured, and they don't know how long he's going to be out.
And
so,
he has had a good season.
yeah, he's been decent down there.
I mean, none of the Marlies goalies have played that many games. None of them have even reached double-digit games played. But that's because it's a trio, not a duo. It's Akhtomov's played 9, Hildeby's played 6, and Murray's played 6.
And I look at Akhtomov's numbers, and people were like, "Oh, why can't we see him?" And I'm like, "Let him cook, man. Just give it time." Guys played 9 games.
You feel for Murray, who's trying to work his way back.
Yeah.
So little play last year, 3 total AHL games, and then now this season 6 games, and 6 games he's injured.
So Akhtomov's got 9 games under his belt. He has not lost in regulation.
8-0-1.
And has a .929 save percentage and a less than 2 goals against average. I know we hate that stat, but that's a pretty cool stat line.
You have to score, or the Marlies only have to score 2 goals to win.
The problem with Artur Akhtomov, from what I can see, is that he's not 6'7" every time he steps on the ice. He's only 6'2".
Oh, that's small.
Short king.
Yeah.
That's small for a goalie.
Short king. And, obviously Dennis Hildeby had a good game, a couple good games up here, and then a really bad one.
He had one good, one bad. His first one was good. His second one was bad. But that was that shitty Blue Jackets game.
Oh, yeah. I don't really blame him for that.
They were, well, I mean, he wasn't great, but the team was.
And he has a sub 900 save percentage with the Marlies this year.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about him not doing so great with the Marlies, but small sample size. The bigger sample size from last year is he's an American Hockey League All-Star, like as a rookie.
Yeah.
So you'd rather have Murray. That's why they have him, but the NHL schedule doesn't give a shit what you'd rather. So they're going to have to play some games with Hildeby and not lean as heavily on their probably best goaltending in the league.
Jesse, did you get a concernometer sense from Berube when he spoke yesterday?
No, he doesn't give off that kind of vibes.
No,
he shuts any injury question that happens that night of the game. He shuts it down. I was like, we'll talk about that tomorrow. And then next day at practice, he'll have some sort of update, whether it's like we still don't have info or an actual update.
Yeah.
But yeah, night of the game, he never really provides anything.
Were you there for the cold weather comment where he was just like, "Yeah, it's cold. I was in a t-shirt."
The t-shirt stuff? No, I missed the t-shirt jokes. It was the bits he was running.
I love that he's running bits. I love that.
No, he's a funny dude. He's always trying to make people laugh. He's good. It's good entertainment.
Did you get a sense of the relief he might have felt by having Jake McCabe back in the lineup?
Mm-hmm. I feel like Jake McCabe is an important part of the team because I don't feel like OEL has had the best stretch here. And same with like Timmins. I like the guy, but I feel like he struggled a little too as of late. So the ideal lineup is like McCabe's healthy, Hakanpää's healthy, and all those guys are playing lesser roles because you have so many different guys to lean on.
How about Riley? Because I've noticed the discourse has started around Riley. Mm-hmm. I haven't noticed it that badly myself. But are you picking up anything there?
Riley's he doesn't make mistakes that I don't feel like are egregious enough to get on his case, but he's also not impacting on the offensive end, which you haven't really needed. But the Leafs the last 2 seasons have just struggled mightily to get any type of offense from their defensemen, from the back end.
Yes.
Near the last, I think last year they were last in the league, and year before that they were near the bottom of points from their defensemen. So you'd like Riley to be that impact guy, and he hasn't really shown up to do that.
And yet, last night, you get a shot from Jake McCabe, leads to a rebound. He gets an assist on a goal. Mm-hmm. You get a shot from Timmins that's tipped in from Pacioretty, led to a goal. They're getting some more offense.
Yeah. It's better this year. It's not like it was last year. But Riley specifically, you'd hope that he's that guy. But you're getting enough from the rest of the lineup. The Timmins shot was interesting too because he was like, "Yeah, I wasn't like that's planned. Like I wasn't trying to score there. I wasn't trying to do anything. It's like I'm shooting for that play." Yeah. So it's really smart stuff from him. Defensively, I think he's been lacking, but offensively, I think he's been doing some good stuff.
So Berube's got that Tanev McCabe pairing that he can throw back out there again, which is great.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I love them.
I think Riley OEL works way better than I thought, and it'll nice to have them. Because no disrespect to Philip Myers, but like
Your ideal
Wow.
is that those four, like that's when they're at their best, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Then
Myers is talk about playing out of your depth. I think it's kind of admirable what he did.
right. Yeah, and Max Pacioretty had a great game. Just
I was surprised he didn't get the belt because they ended up giving it to Wool.
okay.
And like, I don't know how many 2-goal games does Pacioretty have left in his career.
I don't know.
But I mean, Wool coming in relief and being as good as he was
I
he's
think
35, right?
I think it's possible he has more than you think. Max, he's got 9 points in 16 games this year.
dude, way better than he was with the Capitals.
Well, yeah, because he missed half of the season.
Yep.
Like-
He's already got as many goals as he had with the Caps.
Yeah, and I think that there's this physical element he has that we were not used to, and we've talked about it a lot. But his chemistry with John Tavares is interesting because last year we were talking a lot about the Leafs were far more of a rush team last year than they are this year, and Tavares' skating was clearly. It was never. Listen, John Tavares, the knock against him coming in a junior was that his skating wasn't great. He's never been a fleet-of-foot guy. But the way that the Leafs have slowed the game down and this type of style they play tends to lend itself to a guy like John Tavares, who
I like those two together.
so I want to talk a little bit with you two about the hockey that those two play together, because it seems to be two guys who recognize to varying degrees that their skill sets are not as high end as they used to be. It doesn't mean they're not good. It just means that you're physically different at 30 than you are at 36. And two major injuries, and Tavares has had some concussions and things like that. There is an IQ to their game that they play. What is it? Why do they find magic together?
I think they really like the tight areas. I think they like hockey in a phone booth.
Okay.
Because that's what they play. It really is beautiful stuff, and I you can tell they love each other. I think they're two peas in a pod. I think they're both kind of strange. They're both like completely obsessed with their bodies and health and everything.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny. I try to picture John in the locker room, and I'm like, who do you talk to and what do you talk to them about? And I can see him and Max getting along really well.
Well, they both have a mountain of children. I think they have 8 kids between the two of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Does Patrick already have 5
He has
kids?
5 kids.
What? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And John's got 3. So.
Oh, that's both too much.
And you know that Max Pacioretty's wife is the
Maxima Fanaganov's sister?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hockey's so small.
Okay, guys. So Drew, being producer Drew, this is why Drew's my favorite, is about to present you the deserve to win a meter. But before he does that, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say that the Leafs are at 55% on the deserve to win a meter. Okay. I have no idea if I'm right, but I'm just going to take a wild guess. I'm going to say Leafs at 55% through the first period. It would be very Leafy for the Leafs to have a goal called back and win the deserve to win. Oh, wow. 51%. I wasn't that far off. Okay. All right. I'll take that. All right. Pretty mid, actually. Pretty mid. My wife texted me during the intermission there, and she said that this is the first time Everly's ever watched one of my streams, and that she was talking to the screen and having a full-blown conversation with me, completely unaware, of course, that I couldn't speak back to her. My wife kept saying, hey, he can't talk to you. He can't hear you. And she didn't really care. So she's now in bed. But I just thought that was kind of cool. The deserve to win a meter. As a Leaf fan, I have feelings about it. I understand it's an important tool for people. Helps you understand the game and what the flow of play was and that sort of thing. Doesn't tell you everything. No tool does. But I can't tell you how many times I criticized the Leafs in the playoffs, and some person, maybe it was you, sent me the deserve to win a meter result and said, but look, they should have won. And for a guy like me, it just kind of makes me like it's like that, that that meme of the dog and there's like Vietnam helicopters in the background. That's me when you show me the deserve to win a meter, especially when they lose an important game. Don't care what it is. They didn't win. Sherwin, the MLS has nailed video review. The call has to be a, quote, clear and obvious error. The NHL should adopt that wording or something similar. Apparently, they think that they'd have, but I guess, I don't know. I wonder if that comes up in the CBA negotiations too. Like, could they, would the players push for something like that? Did they care enough? Is that a union issue? Soccer apparently also has automatic AI, according to Drew, that tells them immediately if somebody is offside, which is, listen, people keep saying you don't really, or I keep saying, I don't know if linesmen are necessary in the long term at the NHL level. Listen, not to pat myself on the back, but I might have a point. They could probably figure this out. Rich M says, what I'm hearing is Adam needs more deserve to win a meter screenshots sent to him. Please, God, do not. Please, God, do not. Joseph Giordano, 18 seconds of Leafs coverage during intermission. Brutal. Well, Joseph, you got to remember that it is a national broadcast. And that, like, of the 18 minutes they have in Hockey Night in Canada to talk in the intermission, 14 of those minutes are commercials. And before you get mad at Sportsnet about that, remember the NHL has jacked up, along with all the other sports leagues, their rights, the rights packages. So these guys all have to find ways to pay for them, and the way to pay for them is to add more. And that's kind of where we're at. Drew said that there was time to talk about Leafs or any other Canadian team because Ron did a power ranking of his top favorite outdoor rinks in Canada. Now, only Ron McLean could do that. I don't know that the average Canadian could be like, I've been to enough outdoor rinks across Canada to power rank them on Hockey Night in Canada. Ron could do that. I just don't know how it's relevant. Drew, do you know how he got into that? Okay. So I guess the Habs and the Jets are playing, and anyway, long story short, the Jets have an outdoor rink, and Ron started talking about it, so we lost him. That's the thing. That's the thing about Ron. He's always been a tangents guy. Always. So listen, if you're asking him to be anything else, you're asking him not to be himself. Ron is a tangent guy. Robert Bett, are you having a Christmas party for SDPN? No, we're having a Christmas meeting on Wednesday morning at like 10 or 9:30. And we're making Drew drive all the way in from Brampton. I think we will do a holiday party next year. I think just the last 2 years have been super busy and people have babies, and it's been kind of crazy. But yeah, I guess our holiday party will be this meeting, and we'll get some coffee. Somebody always brings donuts. Not a lot of us eat them. Especially Jesse. Jesse's like Mr. Health Food now. Loves his AG1. 1952 left in the second period. Yes, Drew, what's up? Drew brought breakfast in for everybody, and Jesse only ate the egg out of the McMuffin. So there you go. What is he, Ryan Seacrest? Not having bread anymore. I simply can't. The waistline couldn't support it. 1948 left in the second period. It is underway. Cosmo Kramer, Cam Fowler was 9 game shorts of 1,000 games for the Ducks. I know. I am actually doing a Cam Fowler trade video after the game is done. I was trying to get it done before the game was done, but I was late. And it was traffic's fault. But ultimately, the responsibility rests with me. And Drew was waiting around for me to record it. I'm sorry, Drew. He doesn't want to kill me, though. At least not that he's articulated. 1921 left in the second period. Game clock's at 1921. Sherwin, Brampton gang. I'm sorry, Drew. Wait, Sherwin, why are you mad? We got other people from Brampton in here. That's great. Drew loves his Brampton Steelheads, don't you, Drew? He says no. Oh, here we go. Oh, Nyes and Matthews almost kind of hooked up for one there. Puck skirted away. 19:06 left in the second period. Cassie says, my visit will be during the holiday party. Shake my head. Nyes along the half boards. Kind of a slow start here in the first minute. Red Wings having a hard time getting it out of their zone. Good offensive pressure by the Leafs, but they don't look particularly like crazy dangerous. Matthews just goes for an absolute slide. Lost his skate blade. And McCabe is going to push him towards the bench, and the Red Wings are not going to help him. That's a pain in the ass. I've never seen that. At least not with the Leafs. Adam, just do what Steve did and break down the trade in intermission, and it could be used for the video. Well, I could do that. Or, here's Bobby McMahon with a little breakaway. Nice play. I could do that, but I think what I want to do in the intermission is take a breather, come back and kick some ass for you guys. Also, I'm not as good on the one-takers as Steve is. He's had, believe it or not, what is this, year 16? Year 17 of LFR? He's had a lot of practice. What are we at, 18, Drew? It's 18. Oh, Drew says I missed a super chat, so I'm going to get to that now. It's on WhatsApp, and it is from Carrie. Shout out to Cassie for gifting me a membership. Hi, I'm about an hour outside of Pittsburgh in the Laurel Highlands. Go Leafs, go Pens, go Navy, beat Army. Oh, did you watch that today? Or is that tomorrow, Drew, or is that today? Navy and Army. That's today. It's college football. It's Saturday. Hey, Carrie. Love a Pennsylvanian. Especially partial to people from or near Pittsburgh. My mom went to North Allegheny, so if you are from the Pittsburgh area, you probably are at least aware of North Allegheny. Oh! Sherwin says, I'm not mad. I just know Brampton kind of sucks. Sherwin, you live there. You have to wave the flag. You have to wave the flag. Ty Smith, can Adam even pronounce Biakabatuka in one take? Well, I couldn't, Ty. But I believe it or not, Biakabatuka is a noted Alan Walsh client. That's Jeremy Biakabatuka, who was part of the Cam Fowler trade. And his dad played in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers. And I know that because I used to play Madden around 2000 and 2001 and 2002. And I always traded for Tim Biakabatuka because he had come from Canada, even though he was originally born in Congo. That's right. Your biggest Tim Biakabatuka fan. He also was like a pretty good player. He's one of those like sneaky good video game players. $16:27 left in the second period. Kind of a sluggish start here. There's been some opportunities, but no big hits. Here comes Morgan Riley. Nylander down in the corner. Tavares out there. Pacioretty playing high. Shots are 10-8 Detroit. Bluka 16. Greetings from Germany. Do you think Yarncroc can play a role later this season? I certainly hope so, but I saw a report that he might actually miss the season and show up for game one of the playoffs, and I don't care if that's cap circumvention. The Vegas Golden Knights have done it a bazillion times. Why can't the Leafs? But also, yeah, he did just have surgery, and it's going to take him a while to rehab it. I think they miss Calle Yarncroc. He's a very, very valuable player. There's Natalie starting to feel the stress. 15 minutes left in the second period. Natalie's already stressed out. I don't know why. You know what? Natalie watches every hockey game with me. This is my wife, Natalie. And I don't know if she enjoys a single minute of it until the game is over and they've won. Then she enjoys it. Drew says, would she be angry hockey mom in the stands? No, she would be nervous hockey mom in the stands. So if Everly ever plays hockey or any other sport, Natalie is going to be anxious the entire time. She probably won't talk. When we went to, I went and saw Connor Bedard with her with the Chicago Blackhawks game, and she spent the entire game hunched over like this, the entire game. Like it was supposed to be like a date night for two of us. And she had her shoulders up high, hunched over, and her hands just gripping till they were white knuckle because she was so nervous. And I'm like, Nat, like it's the Blackhawks, man. Just enjoy it. David Owens, who was the best sneaky good player in NHL video games? That's a really good question. Cliff Ronning in NHL 24. Oh, Patrick Kane walks in alone on Wall, and Wall stones him, baby. Cliff Ronning randomly in like NHL 94 was amazing because one of his buddies was a developer with the video game, so they like made him sneaky good. One of the guys that I used to love was Marek Svatos in like NHL 2005. His speed was off the charts. That's Avs legend, Marek Svatos, by the way. Drew would remember him. Rest in peace. And he was unbelievable. There was a player named Marc-Andre Bergeron who was a defenseman. Oh, here we go. Holmberg. He was incredible. Like crazy skater. Sean Avery was good in one of those video games too. Like he had a potential of like 95. Leafs getting some good stuff going here. 5-man prod. Sean Bergenheim was like a 96% for the Islanders after 1 year. That's crazy. Oh, here we go. Oh, Nylander set up Dewar there for what looked like a sure one, but I think Husso got it or he shot it wide. Listen, anybody getting on Connor Dewar in the chat right now, reminder, he's Connor Dewar. This is not what he doers for a living. You know what I'm saying? Tanev along the boards, keeping it in. Patcher ready down deep. Probably going to put this out to Tavares, and he did. Goes by him, goes to Nylander, and off his skate and out of the zone. McCabe to Tavares. Tavares gets it, tries to get a by-sider. Can't. Still in the neutral zone here. Hopefully the Leafs are not offside because here comes Mac Pacioretty. Nice little backhand shot. Husso stops it. Easy save. Drew says my Connor Dewar joke is worth a boo. But I was quite proud of it. Right on the fly. Did he say that? So Steve is mad at Connor Dewar at the moment. I'm not going to say what he said. But he said all insane effort, just not a lot of finish. And it's true. He does have good effort. You can't not like the guy and what he brings, and he's great on the defensive side. I just wish, like Zach Hyman, we forget, used to have stone cold hands. He missed so many opportunities. And then last year just started burying them. And I hope that Connor Dewar, for his sake, is able to get a piece of that. Because he does get opportunities because of all the hard work. Husso stops it. We're going to commercials here. Not us on the thing, but the TV station is. We are good. We are not going to commercials here on these streams. I'm just looking at that replay of Austin Matthews getting dragged to the bench. Man, you really do become kind of useless without that second blade, don't you? Even one blade is like, there's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, Drew said it's like walking with one leg. Did anybody see the Marc-Andre Fleury save from today on, I think it was on Konechny? Just crazy, like vintage Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur stuff. Completely out of position, but gloves it. It was crazy. Cassie, Leafs summoning goal circle activated. Everybody like Cassie's comment. Also, can we get a few more likes on this video? We only have 302. Come on, chat. Let's get going, baby. Hayden Matheson is here. That's producer Hayden for anybody that wants to know. We love him. Deb says, I'm glad Marc-Andre Fleury is having a good year for his final season. Me too. It's always the worst when like a great player has to play on a bad team, and like the Wild are anything but. They're awesome. They're awesome. Dave Thor, I think there's a high chance Detroit trades one of their goalies. Once all of them get healthy, their value is the highest right now. All three of them have been proven to be competent or good enough. Dave, have you seen Ville Husso's record? He doesn't have a win yet. Harry Chambers checking in from London, England. Not London, Ontario. London, England. Love that. Welcome, Harry. It's got to be late there. Robert Bett, I live in Napanee, and I heard Steve. There you go. Matthews with the offensive zone win? I never know how they judge faceoff wins. But it does lead to a shot from Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Cycled down by Matthew Nyes, and he kind of fires it all the way around. Back into the Leaf zone. They're going to have to reset here. I'm sure he wanted to put a little less mustard on that. He just kind of overdid it. Morgan Riley with a not-so-great giveaway with Lucas Raymond. Marner at the blue line. Interesting no dump and chase there. Marner gives it away on the pass. Tries to create a turnover. Can't. And that means Lucas Raymond gets to jump in. You got to be careful, man. Listen, Detroit might not be great, but Lucas Raymond is Lucas Raymond. Joseph Wall behind the net, plays it out to the defense, and nobody is there. The Red Wings are changing, though, so nobody can touch the puck. Oh, that was a good man. Maybe a smarter play. Nice little move by Matthew Nyes into Jake McCabe behind the net. He's taken out by a hit. Tavares to Nylander. It's in his skates, but he gets possession because he's William Nylander. Pacioretty, nice little hit behind the net. Turns it over to Nylander. I think that went off Max Pacioretty's back when he shot it. Oh my God. I think that hurt. McCabe holds it along the boards, pinching. Bit of a risky play, but it worked for him. Only a vet could do that. I think Patches is like in pain here. He's playing through it though. To Nylander. Tries to slip it through to Tavares. Gets it back. Benoit shoots. Tavares redirects, and it's just wide of the net. 10:28 left in the first period. Cassie says, why do cows wear bells? Because their horns don't work. Cassie. I like it. I like a cheesy joke, not a cheap joke. Cheesy joke. Hey, Wazoo, welcome to STP VIP. We're thrilled to have you along. Thank you for signing up. Oh, Domi. Okay, here's the line we're looking for. It's Mitten, Domi, McMahon. Do they do anything? Okay, Mitten's out. Let's see what they're able to do here. This is kind of like midway through to the end of the shift. Mitten shoots. It's well wide. Domi keeps it in. Down low to Minton, who tries to pass it out to McMahon. McMahon misses. The Leafs are changing. Marner back in there real quick. Or is that Marner? No, that's Lorentz. 18, 16, can't tell. The thing is, I'm watching on the computer, not on cable. And so when you have a digital offering, they naturally make it less good because they want you to buy cable, which I hate. 9:14 left in the second period. Kind of a frustrating game for the Leafs. They've had plenty of scoring opportunities. Another one there from Pontus Holmberg. Oh boy, Connor Dewar just gets cross-checked in the head. There is absolutely going to be a penalty on that. What was that for? Jonathan Bergen just smashed him. Did Dewar initiated it, apparently. So what does Dewar do here? Oh, okay. So he just pushes him. Oh, man. And Bergen's grabbing his mouth like he's hurt or something. He probably did that to himself. But yeah, Dewar just pushes back into Bergen. And Jonathan Bergen, I think, got his stick a little higher than he probably wanted to. David Owens is saying 2 games. Yeah, I don't think that's a 2-gamer. I think it is a 2-minuter, though, which I like. Canadian Big Mac, Yarm 80 plus for the win. Yeah, but Yarm 80 plus is often still in 720p, which in 2024 is absolutely embarrassing. Like, online streams should be 4K, all of them. What are we doing here, people? And yet, Font Hiller. Okay, Adam, with the Whistly, did you see the Biz Raw footage? Did you talk about it on the pod and I need to catch up? No, we haven't talked about the Biz stuff. I don't know, man. I just kind of let Biz talk about it on his pod, kind of crazy. But it looks like he did the right thing. And a bunch of guys now are getting national attention for being assholes. And I think it's cool because it seems like these guys had been known before. But, he was able to kind of spotlight their assholery. Curtis Allen. Hey, Adam, I just finished Steve book. Have you ever thought about writing one? Not about me, because I don't have the following that Steve has. But I think one day we would like to do an SDPN book. So obviously would be a contributor to that, Jesse and Steve and I. But we have to do more first. I feel like I'm not at the place in my life or my career where I could comfortably write a book about just me. Although I got good stories. I know that. I just don't know that there's a big enough audience for it. I'd like to get much bigger. It's a 2-minute penalty. Drew even thought that was going to be 5. By the way, anybody that's wondering, we do trail the actual cable game. So if you want to line up with us and watch this stream, just pause your cable until you hit 9:07 on the clock, and you'll be able to catch that. And I'll do a little clap here for the face-off. 9:07. Leafs on the power play. Oh, no, they fake drop the puck. This is why we don't want linesmen. And if you're a linesman, so Leafs win that face-off. This is going to be, they're back to kind of their old tricks with this lineup. And I'm concerned about this because this is the power play that couldn't get anything done to start the year. Like, they had the worst October ever. And now we're going to let them get back together and do this thing. And they are, for me, one of the most frustrating groups because they like to pass the puck around. There is not a lot of chaos happening in front of the net, although I'll give Mitch Marner and Tavares credit. They're holding their positions. But we've had 40 seconds and one sort of slapper. We need to get a little bit more chaos going on, and that's what you need. Beautiful setup by Mitch Marner, and that's in the back of the net. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Shoot the puck. What the Red Wings did there, and what the Leafs were able to get them to do, is collapse down deep. The Red Wings started spread out. The Leafs played perimeter. It was starting to drive me a little bit crazy, I'm not going to lie. But you look, the forwards for the Red Wings get too low, and they commit too much to Mitch Marner, who has that nice little back move. Watch Mitch. Nice little back move. Nobody is better skating backwards with the puck in the NHL, I think, than Mitch Marner. And just gives Matthews an easy shot right from that's where Leon Draisaitl scores all of his goals. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful play. Beautiful play. Man, I love that. Listen, I am worried. I won't lie here. I know how I look after that power play. I realized that I said it's those 5 guys, but it was those 5 guys to start the year who couldn't get it done. And as long as they end up shooting eventually and scoring, I'll be happy. And they did that time. Cassie's summoning circle worked. Yes, it did, Cassie. Yes, it did. So, by the way, for people wondering, That's Austin Matthews' 33rd career point in 25 games against the Red Wings, his 18th goal in 25 career games against the Red Wings. He has more game-winning goals against the Red Wings than any other team in the NHL, 7 in his career. Second to that are the Devils with 5 career game-winning goals. So maybe Austin gets another one tonight. That'd be nice. And listen, there's a lot of people out there going, hey, I'm concerned about Austin's game. I'm not one of those people. And he scored a lot, so I'm happy. I'm just happy he's back. Detroit ranks right now 31st in shots on goal this season, was only 737 coming into this game. They've done a good job of getting shots to the net tonight. They've had some good chances. Joseph Woll's been strong. Toronto and Detroit have not met in the playoffs since 1993. If the Leafs were to win the division and the Detroit Red Wings were to get into the wild card, it could be the first time in 31 years or 32 years. If you want to look this up, for Red Wings fans that are old enough, Nikolai Borchevsky scoring the OT winner in Game 7 of the first round for the Leafs to defeat the Detroit Red Wings. And by the way, the Leafs were a surprise team that year. Nobody expected them to be good. They barely kind of squeaked in. Doug Gilmour was new. Nobody was prepared for what was going to happen. The Red Wings were spectacular that year. If there's a few years where Detroit probably should have won the Cup. One of them was the year they got beat by the Avs in the third round. Another one was 93. They were a absolute favorite going in, and Leafs had them. Listen, other teams had their playoff struggles in the first round, just like the Leafs, only they didn't have 8 years in a row of it. I think that's where Toronto fans are like, hey, could we win some rounds this year? Connor Timmins with a nice little rollout, gets the puck down deep. Matthew Nyes with a couple of shots at it. Marner covering for the defenseman, that would be Connor Timmins. Up at the point, Marner's pretty good at that, though. He's a good QB. Dangling at the blue line, over to Morgan Rielly down at the half board. Marner is up high. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is out there now. Rielly gets it to him. Down again to, that's Steven Lorentz. Did I just call Steven Lorentz Mitch Marner a bunch of times? You know what? I did. I don't even care. I'm not even upset about it. He looked like him. Just a taller version of him. Not even upset. Do I call plays for a living? No. I'm going to try my best, though. Holmberg in the corner. Lorentz down. I'm really liking the pressure from this first line, or this fourth line. It is the first line. Steven, Mitch Marner, Lorentz. Tyler Mott with a shot at the side of the net. Dewar working the puck out. Well, no, it gets back in. McCabe and Rielly out there. I think they're halfway through a shift change. This is good offensive zone pressure by the Red Wings here. I think the Leafs need a change. Bad. Puck goes off a stick and out of the zone. Leafs now leading Detroit in shots. That's a good sign. Matthews now has 10 goals in 20 games. He's heating up. Amazing. Dan Patrick, Matthews is a horrible captain. Sorry, he is so selfish. Dan's just trolling. All the world's a stage. Matthews was underexcited when he scored. Something's wrong with him. Oh my God. Well, if it isn't Bill, says the Detroit Red Wings need to fire Derek Lalonde if they want to sniff at the playoffs. Is the coaching situation that bad? Or, Red Wings fans, I must ask, do you think that your roster is strong enough? Because I don't know. Like, if there were a play-in round and it was Sabres and Detroit, I would take the Sabres. I would. 10 times out of 10. I just don't know that the Red Wings lineup is that strong, man. Like, Larkin's awesome. Raymond's awesome. Sider's awesome. And there's some guys who are guys. But, like, I don't know that this is a very strong team. I think that they are, there's some good players in the pipeline. I just don't know if this is the year for the playoffs. That might cost Lalonde his job anyway. One of Matt Cullen's kids looks like a young Marner. according to Cassie. I like that. David Owens, do I pick up Hildeby for fantasy tomorrow? I would imagine he's going to start. I think that the Sabres are going to give the Leafs a hard time, though. I think they're going to give them a real hard time. 22 hours between the start of the Red Wings game and the start of the Sabres game with the Leafs. And it's with travel. It's only an hour, but it's still. And and Dennis Hildeby got shelled the last time he was playing for the Leafs. So I don't know. Drew says the Sabres suck. Don't worry. Here's the thing, though. The Sabres suck against normal teams. Against the Leafs, they bring it. Nobody, there's a crazy thing about Sabres fans hating Jack Eichel still. Nobody loved to kill the Leafs more than Jack Eichel. Nobody loved it. The Jack Eichel erasure in Buffalo needs to be studied, man. Guy's like an unreal player, and then all of a sudden doesn't want to be there anymore, and the team makes it about him hating the city, and it's not about that. He didn't like playing for the organization, and I don't really blame him. What have they done? Oh, nice little give and go here. William Nylander dancing in around the net. 4:50 left in the second period, trying to make something happen. In comes Bobby McMahon with some speed. Tavares has the puck thrown or the stick thrown away from him and then pushed over from behind. Got his stick back. He's going to shoot. Oh, McMahon just robbed by Ville Husso. But good playing. And by the way, Bobby McMahon up in his old spot next to Tavares and Nylander. You know what? There's Craig Berube throwing him a bone going, hey, give it a shot. I bet, too, Pacioretty's probably recovering from that puck that nailed him. I think it was the back ribs. And maybe Patch has got off first for a change, too. Still. We got something in the chat. Who will score next, Toronto or Detroit? I'm saying Toronto. Pretty wild how Adam was talking about that offside rule, and Red Wings Ken Daniels is the one that talked about it. That very thing happens against the Red Wings. Well, we mentioned it on the podcast, and we credited Ken Daniels because Friedge did too. He's right. I think Ken Daniels has a point. Great work, Ken. We'll call it the Ken Daniels rule. Should name it after him. McCabe, Matthews, Nye. So you say Matthews and then Nyes. It's weird to say. Adam, the roster for Detroit is bad as a Wings fan. Defense is terribly constructed. You're expecting Seider to do everything, and only Larkin and Raymond are really doing the heavy lifting offensively. Yeah, and Kane, I honestly thought Kane was done in Detroit, and it seemed from his tweets that he was, and then he's back, and he hasn't been great. And Tarasenko, I mean, he's not playing tonight. Oh, no, he's playing tonight. He's just invisible tonight. I don't know, man. I just don't see it. JT Compher was a pretty important part of that Avs run, as Drew said earlier, but is he your full-time second-line center? Can he set those guys up? James Stemler says, Amazon does a great job, but the idea of national rights being 100% streaming could alienate older generations. My grandparents are diehard hockey fans, but the idea of they hate the idea of ditching cable. Streaming really confuses them. Well, James, I totally understand that. And I would say that they will try to make it as simple as possible for people like your grandparents to watch. But the reality is that it's going streaming in the next 2 to 3 years anyway. That's just the way of the world. And so they'll be able to watch the regional games on cable because they're used to cable and that sort of thing. But yes, I think they need to simplify the process for people that are not used to technology in the way that we are and maybe don't have smart TVs or that sort of thing. But I got to tell you, I think, unfortunately, they're going to have to learn how to do it. And it's not that hard. It's just kind of changing the pathways in your brain a little bit. And I struggle with it too with my mother, who's not that old. Can't figure it out either. So not that she's watching hockey games, but football and stuff like that. She's still a cable person. It's going to be tough. But I also remember too, the target audience that they want is watching on streaming. Tyken 81. Guess who's going to Leafs versus Bruins on Jan 4th? Oh, have a good time. Have a good time. That'll be fun. Plus, it'd be good if the Bruins just went away. They haven't. They're better now. But damn, wouldn't it be cool if they just didn't? What if they just stopped? Drew says, does part of you secretly wish that the Leafs don't win the division so they can play the Bruins or Lightning? Here's what I'm going to tell you. They're going to play the Bruins or Lightning if they win the division because the Metropolitan's better and they're going to have higher point totals, which means the Leafs will be second in the conference. And then the Panthers, Bruins, and Lightning are all going to make the playoffs this year unless something crazy happens. So one of those teams is going to be sitting in the wild card spot, and it'll be the first wild card spot, and the Leafs will have to play them. So it's going to be Lightning or Bruins in that spot anyway. And I think, honestly, it would be good for the Leafs to beat the Bruins and finally go deep in the playoffs. They need to do it. As Steve said many years ago, slay the dragon. Oh! Riley with one off the back. Look, this fourth line again. Creating great forechecking in the offensive zone. The Red Wings have their third defensive pairing out there, and this fourth line unit for the Leafs is just putting the pressure on, throwing the body, keeping possession. They don't have a lot of finish, but they are getting chances. Already 40 seconds in the O-zone, which is a lot more than you'd expect for a fourth line. Good for them. Out to Connor Timmins with a shot, and that's what the fourth line needs to do for the Leafs. Don't yield any goals. Create an offensive zone faceoff. You're set. You're ready. There's 90 seconds left in the period. That was a great shift. Billy Husso, man, woo, got away with one there. Rain Winslow, hey everyone, worked an 11-hour shift, so I missed most of the first and most of the second. Well, Rain, you've missed a pretty good game. It's a pretty good game. I didn't mind the first period, didn't mind the second period. 1 goal for Detroit in the first period. Leafs scored, but then had one taken back. Mitch Marner scored a great goal, but Matthews was offside like 30 seconds beforehand. Boo, hiss. But that's okay because Marner set up Matthews on the power play in the second period. And that's why we're all tied up at 1. Headlines with Frege is going to be interesting this week because I wonder if they're going to get back into this conversation that Frege has been having all week about offside reviews and how much they suck. Lurker Lieutenant, looks like the Berube system works well against Detroit. Yes, I'd like to see a few more goals, though. They're going to need some goals. 40 seconds left in the second period. Shots are 21-16 Toronto. This has been a really strong period from the Leafs. They came in trailing Detroit. I think it was the shots were 10-8, and I think they've limited Detroit to 5 or 6 shots this period, at least so far. There's 25 seconds left, and they just turned the puck over in the neutral zone. So I'm hoping I'm not wrong. And the Detroit Red Wings score. Why did I open my big, fat, stupid mouth? That was a terrible giveaway in the neutral zone. I think it was Matthew Nyes. Just awful. Awful giveaway. Patrick Kane, I think, sets up Moritz Seider there. Gosh darn it. That was terrible. So, it was Matthews. So, okay, it was a Tanev pass that goes off Matthews' skate. Kane kind of comes in. Great cross-ice pass there. Wylde doesn't have a shot. 2 Leaf defensemen kind of get knocked into each other. Nyes tries to block it. Yuck. Cassie, good night, guys. I'll leave you guys in the summoning circle in Natalie's capable hands for the Leafs. And maybe the Pens, too, if everyone is feeling nice. Well, goal summoning circle. By the way, that was completely my fault. The Leafs played a great period and totally watched it. I hate last-minute goals. I hate them. Stop allowing them. That was garbage. And that's some of the Leafs' best players. Garbage. Garbage. The Leafs had a great period. They really did. And then 25 seconds to go, F this. Adam for the announcer jinx. Great job. I know. This is fully and completely my fault. Good night, Cassie. We love you. Stephen Lockwood. Sider is such a great player. Let's go Red Wings. He is. Maurice Sider rules. He's amazing. We're going to get to some intermission content in just a second here. But KMad96, Adam, you need to stop blaming the players. It's your problem. It's you. You're right. I jinxed the players. It couldn't be that Tanev made a bad pass and it went off Matthews' stick and right to Patrick Kane. Boo hiss. Boo hiss. All the world's a stage. Leafs have been sloppy all game. They have been sloppy. They have been sloppy. MASH 709, CBC Gem sucks. Video quality is trash. I don't know that that's a CBC Gem issue. I think that's a Sportsnet providing it in 720p, so you'll buy cable issue. Richard Triofino, if you're a streamer, know the time. True. Tyler Durden says, yeah, maybe the players were playing, but it happened because of you. You manifested it. Cosmo Kramer, go-ahead goals in the first and last minute of the period are backbreakers. They are. Canadian Girl 83 just gifted a sub. Thank you. And Gabe, welcome to SDP VIP. Give it a shot, and please resubscribe so that we may continue to bring all the great programming that SDP has to offer. SDPN. James Stemler. I see Jesse did a Fowler video. I got the notification. Well, that's good. That's real good. Still going to do one. I was going to do one. See if it get up. Yeah. So Jesse did one for his channel. I'm going to do one on the SDPN channel. We'll go head to head on Fowler videos. Dan Patrick just has a full hate on for Austin Matthews. That was not Tanev. It was Matthews showing exactly what he is. Not as good as he could be if he would use his size and hit a bit more and more space, but he is soft. Wow, Dan, you're the first outright Austin Matthews hater I've ever met. And I disagree with you completely, but I will defend your right to say what you want. Warrior Womp, Alex Nylander with a hat trick for the Marlies, including an OT winner tonight. Yes, the Marlies are sick, man. They're a good team. It's good because when you bring players up and try to develop them, it's good to put them on a good AHL squad so they know what winning looks like. Corey Parrish says what we're all thinking. Husso being winless throughout this season, we all know is a recipe for a Leafs loss because, of course, that's so true. I looked at that stat line when Drew dropped it on me earlier in the game, and I was like, oh no, that sucks. Anyway, you know what? Let's go to the intermission content, and we'll come back and we'll handle the third period. Hopefully the Leafs score 80 bajillion goals in the third. So, Drew, what are we talking about here for the intermission? Leaf struggles at 5-on-5. Oh, how apropos. Let's have a look. To that point, there's been a lot of discussion in analytics circles about the lack of 5-on-5 scoring, and not just that, but the lack of 5-on-5 opportunities. And the Leafs are just. I've seen people say, who are very intelligent people, the Leafs are worse than their record suggests. They are.
That's every team with great goaltending.
They are. They're going to be boring to watch. And when I look at this and I go, okay, you had 2 weeks ago, you had 7 forwards out of the lineup, and one of them was your 70 goal scorer, 69 goal scorer. Mm-hmm. And you don't have the center depth you'd ideally want, right? You still I know everybody wants Minton to be great, and so do I. But count me as I'm impressed, but not convinced.
Oh, I thought last game was his best in the NHL.
Yeah, Minton been so good.
I love
that's somebody who deserves zero criticism.
I loved him.
Listen,
you're a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you hate children?
Let's get 20, 30 games into it, then we'll talk.
Sure.
Is my point.
Yeah.
and that's
Unimpressed. Adam
unimpressed.
Wylde.
I said I was impressed.
This is unimpressed with Adam Wylde. Or I'm just unimpressed about things.
Hey, you know what, professional athlete? Here's what you stink at. But I think that the reason some of the numbers are showing that is because they took a lot of punch out of the lineup. Even a guy like, forget Matthews, even a guy like Calle Yarncroke, who was up until this point reliably counted on for 15 goals.
15, yeah. Ish.
And James Myrtle mentioned in his column this morning that he may be gone for the year. We don't know. He might be gone until the playoffs.
Sure,
he might
looking
be.
like it.
They might Mark Stone him.
Well, like,
Oh, that'd be nice.
I don't think Yarncroke's gonna just get plopped into the lineup. Like, I think if he doesn't play before the playoffs, he ain't playing.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. Free Calle Yarncroke.
Yeah.
Read Calle Yarncroke.
But my point in bringing this up is I would expect a team that goes through that type of injury attrition to have less than good, less than previous to last year's advanced stats. They also don't score as much as last year, and they're not going to score the same ways they did last year. And so if you pull that kind of punch out of the lineup, 7 regulars, you're going to see some stats that look bad. And the part that I feel like is being missed, you look at that in a vacuum, you're not mentioning the injuries. The other part that I think is being missed is they weathered it. They won. They still found a way to win, specifically when Matthews was out. They found a way to get the guys that we always talk about. Who are the guys that need to score?
The core 4.
The core 4. And you know who scored when Matthews was out?
The core 3.
All of them, regularly.
Yep. I will say this, because I think you're right, but here's where they have a point. Coming into the season, I went, wait a sec. They have the exact same forward group, minus Tyler Bertuzzi, plus Max Pacioretty on his janky contract, and who else? Who did they add? Oh, Steven Lorentz. Like, this forward group was supposed to take a step back, I think. And as I said,
By design, it seems that way.
Well, like, let's say Matthews scores 40 goals this year, which is an unreal season for most people. That's 29 goals you have to make up. That's like, you could go out and sign like a $7 million player in free agency and be happy with them scoring 29 goals. Like, I sort of flagged this as a problem before the season even began. Hey, how are they going to do this? How are they going to score goals? And the reason they've weathered it, I think, is really, really, really good goaltending, and their defense is better.
Yep.
But the goal scoring thing, I think, is a thing. It is a problem.
It's a thing, but let's see everybody back and healthy.
You may literally never see that. Is the problem?
Okay,
it's the
then,
NHL.
but
Yeah,
is
that's
that? But then is that indicative of some sort of downward trend that means they're boring and bad, or is it, hey, this team has changed its DNA a little bit, and you've had a ton of injuries? They had more injuries at one point than the Avalanche. The Avalanche were missing
crazy.
everybody.
They were what, like 6-7 forwards down?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Well, the Avs were 6-7 players down. The Leafs were 6-7 forwards down.
forwards.
What do you
down.
expect,
Yeah,
man?
I know.
Right. That with the lack of goal scoring thing, like, you don't need to score so many goals when you're playing great defense and you have good goaltending. Like, why can't that be their identity, where we're a low goal scoring team, but the other two facets of the game, defense and goaltending, were really good at that?
Well, I think
why
the point-
couldn't Craig Berube coach them into that team?
The
which he's
rebuttal
trying
would have
to
been,
do?
though, that the rebuttal to that, sorry, would have been that the reason they didn't win in the playoffs was because their scoring disappeared.
Yeah, but it's not that team anymore. You know, it's their scoring disappeared, but like, now, what if our defense and goaltending is better than it was in those years? You know, like, they can improve in that area.
defense, for
if they can't improve in the goal scoring, why not improve in the other areas? And I look at where they rank in goals for and goals against per game. For goals for per game, they're 23rd. You know, they're
That's
lower half of the league.
Not great.
But the goals against per game, they're third. But who are the teams around them? You got Winnipeg. They're actually second. My bad. It's Winnipeg in first, Toronto in second, and then the other teams are the Kings and the Wild. So you're just surrounded by the top teams in the NHL because this is how they're all playing hockey, because this is the most successful way to play hockey.
I think it's because they're bad.
So the Leafs are playing a winning brand of hockey that puts them in the same category as the best teams in the league, but we're upset with how they're playing.
I think that
can
people
so
would claim
rarely-
that they're not going to stay there.
Oh no, okay. Like no, they're
All right.
okay.
They're not gonna be bad at goal scoring all the time. I can do it too.
Yeah. So why don't you call me when that happens, and then we'll have that discussion. Because what I'm talking about is the reality of the team and what they're playing with right now. I can't magically just predict that they're gonna stink in a month. Like what?
Last year, the Leafs had like 3 games. There was the game where they would come out and destroy their opponent, but then have to hold the fort, and they couldn't really. There was they come out flat, and then they have to score their way out of the pit, and sometimes they could. And then the most fun ones, gunfights, where they just goal. It is 6-6 heading into overtime.
Yeah.
Like, just can't hold a lead, can't stay down. Here we go, just slobber knocker pond hockey. And now they're actually playing like the hockey we watch in the playoffs, frankly.
Yeah, they're playing playoff hockey from day one, and people are complaining.
Yeah. Like,
You must be fun at parties.
the Battle of Alberta a few years ago, Oilers Flames, that would have been 2022. I thought 2 things while watching that series. 1, this rules. 2, neither of you are making the final. Like, it was really fun. It was really fun to watch, and neither team had a snowball's chance. Like, game 1, Flames go up 6-2. I'm like, well, Oilers are cooked. Oilers tie it. I'm like, well, Flames are cooked. And Oilers end up winning that series in 5. And then what happens? The Avalanche friggin' sweep them.
Yeah.
It's the Leafs have consistently played fun. I'm actually down for a little bit of boring.
Oh yeah.
Also, I find almost, not all, but almost all brands of hockey fun if you watch closely enough.
Hockey is a very entertaining sport, and it leads to like the first thing we talked about in today's episode, and the NBA versus the NHL. Like the NHL product is fantastic. All hockey is great hockey.
I love a goalie duel. And I don't mean games where, like, you know, each goalie's facing 25 shots. No, it's not a goalie duel. I'm talking both teams are friggin' shooting the lights out, and neither guy can be beaten.
Oh yeah.
Love a goalie duel. You're telling me you don't enjoy the Leafs playing a more physical brand of hockey? Teams don't. They haven't like adjusted their expectations yet. Like, one of the things that I think is helping Max Pacioretty crush guys is they're not preparing to be hit by Max Pacioretty
No, I don't think they are.
at all. Like,
No, he forechecks hard too.
He's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Which you don't notice until he starts using it. No, there's just it's like your favorite food's Mexican, and you go to an Indian restaurant and you hate it because it's not Mexican. Like, they're both delicious flavors. They're just different. Does that make sense?
Yes. Listen, it is my job to bring up alternative points of view in order to challenge.
And it is my job to bring up food.
But I would
Compare
say
everything
that
to.
I too disagree with those statements. But I think that there are, and we've talked about this on Sunday, there are some people that are not happy with the way things are going because it's different from the set philosophy from 10 years ago that the Leafs tried.
All I asked for in the offseason was for them to change something. And I was looking at the roster. They changed the coach. The team has fundamentally changed. Personnel has changed too. Just not in the way that we all thought it might. What they were doing was not successful. It was not. Regular season, but no one cares. What they were doing was not successful. Let's have a look at something else. Early returns are good.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah. And good goaltending too.
I mean, you're allowed.
Maddie, if you want to bring up,
You're not though.
goals against per game. The Leafs actually are tied for the league in goals against per game.
But Jesse, they don't score enough at this specific one thing that I think they should.
A 4-way tie. I didn't even realize this when I was looking
Holy
at just
shit.
the order of goals against per game. It's a 4-way tie for first, with the Jets, Leafs, Kings, Wylde are all 2.55 goals against per game.
Wow.
And then you go down the list. It's Dallas at 5, New Jersey at 6, Washington at 7, Edmonton at 8, Vegas at 9. Amongst those 9 teams in the top 10 in goals against per game, there's not a bad team in the bunch. They're all above a 600 points percentage. And that's not the same thing you can say about goals for per game, where you have the Lightning there at 2nd, who are below 600 in points percentage. And you also have the Blue Jackets at 8th, who are below 500 in a points percentage. So goals against per game seems to be more indicative of the best teams in the league.
Jesse,
So,
have you considered the?
I don't know.
No.
Just a quick look
Also,
at some stats.
can I have a quick look since you have that stat sheet
Sure.
up? I'd love to have a look at power play percentage, because I think it's so
Yeah.
interesting. The Leafs power play has not been. It was not setting the world on fire to start. They're in 20th in power play.
Yeah, they were last for a big chunk of October.
People are talking about what they could be doing at 5-on-5, and I totally understand that. But if that power play regresses to the mean,
There you go.
Shut up.
you know how many people have sent me very lovely messages going, here's what it means. I
hope-
know what it means. I just think it's stupid. But regresses to the mean, I'll use your terminology, and it goes to 23%.
It's 2024, guys. We're in the feelings.
23%. Let's
Adam
go.
feels
Where's
like it's
who's at
wrong.
23%, Jesse?
What?
Let's go up a little bit. Who's at 23%?
23% would be pretty high. You get into the top 12.
I would expect I expect the Leafs to be in the top 10 in power play.
Oh, that's even more.
Well,
You
that's
gotta get
25%.
You got to 25, yeah.
Imagine where that puts them in the goal scoring department. I know we were talking about 5-on-5 goals versus 5-on-4, but power play goals traditionally, as far as I remember, still count. And if you have an improvement in that area, even more than the Leafs already have, and they had a really good November power play, and so far it's been okay in December. I don't know.
There's work to be done in both categories. You can say that they're 20th in power play percentage, and they are 23rd or 22nd in goals for per game. There's work to be done in both
Why
areas.
haven't they won the cup, though? It's December 13th.
Jesse,
They can work on that from here on out.
Jesse, help me out. I want to see something. So can you arrange the top power plays in the league? Real quick.
Yep.
So, okay, there's 2 teams above 30%, which seems insane. There's
Which are the Devils and Jets for anybody listening.
there's 7 teams above 25%. Can you go to last year's season total?
I can.
I want to see how many teams were above 25%. Oh shit. More than I thought. 4.
There's top 4. Yeah.
None were above 30 though.
Tampa, Carolina, New York, Edmonton were all 26 and above.
So it's reasonable to believe, and like middle of the pack is still.
Leafs
like
were 24
high
last
20s.
year.
Yeah.
Oh wow, there you go.
Right there, 7th place.
So
power play
regress to the mean.
And it didn't friggin' help in the playoffs, did it?
Well, I mean, Matthews and Marner, Matthews and Nylander were out for part of that too. I give them that. I give them that.
Schedule doesn't care. I don't give it to him.
No, fine.
Schedule doesn't give a fuck.
Steve doesn't care. Steve doesn't give shit.
You got to win with the
Facts don't care about your feelings, right?
Nope.
Right? Steve Shapiro over here.
Well,
right?
hey now.
24%. I think the Leafs. I think that's achievable for these Leafs. I do.
Yeah,
And then they get more goals per game.
like from here on out.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Well, so I don't know if you saw the graphic there. Sportsnet put up a graphic here in Canada. The ozone differentiation between the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs through 2 periods is like crazy. The Leafs have like 18 minutes. The Red Wings are at like 13 minutes. And here's the problem. The slot shots differentiation is 9 for Detroit and 10 for Toronto. And what does it tell us? It tells us Toronto needs to freaking shoot the puck, man. They are dominating this game in the ozone. And I know a lot of that time came from a couple of really great shifts from the 4th line, but you've seen the Nylander line get in there. You've seen the Matthews line get in there. And we're not getting shots like we just saw right there from Rasmussen, right? He's in front of the net. Detroit has the puck for maybe 15 seconds in the Leaf zone, probably less. He's still able to get a shot in tight. And like, you can't miss him. The guy's 6'6". I think that's the thing that's what worries me about the Leafs sometimes is they do pass it. They're an overpassing team. It's great to be unselfish, but actually it isn't. This is sports. Shoot, win. You got to be a little bit selfish here. And I know that's that's not the hockey way, but in every other sport, you'll have guys that are just dying to shoot, just dying for an opportunity. And the Leafs have too many guys who want to give it to you. So there's my sports take. I'm Adam Wylde. I just, there you go. There's Mitch shooting the puck and scores. See what I mean? So Mitch gets his goal back, which is amazing. What was I just talking about? What did I say? I said, shoot it. Shoot it. And he did. And I think Nyes tipped that in. Baby, see what I'm saying? Look at this. So Marner shoots from the point, just a little floater, and Nyes bats it down. Boom. Beautiful. We had a goal in the last minute of the second period. We have a goal in the first minute of the third, baby. Let's go. Great play. And you have two guys in front of the net, like Steve always says. Go to the net. Get in front of there, create issues, and they did. Matthew Nyes, big goal. Drew is asking, is Nyes their best net front guy since JVR? The thing with the Leafs since JVR is nobody has been a net front guy since JVR. So all you'd have to do is be a net front guy and you would instantly be the best one since JVR. But if I'm going to be honest with you, yes, I think he is. You could make the argument Tavares, Drew, if we're talking about this, because Tavares does score a lot from in and around. But I think my thinking is, he's the best net front guy they've had since then. He's also just a monster. Justin Fisher dropping 10 SDPN memberships. Justin, do you want to tell the chat what they've won? Because VIP here at SDP is actually pretty cool. And I think we do some great episodes. Everybody else here who's in green, you guys know. How do you feel about the VIP episodes? Do you love the VIP? 18:30 left in the third period. Leafs have tied this game. I feel a little bit of energy in my soul. That goal made me feel good. And that's an icing. No, it's not. It's not because the Red Wings shot it down. Billy Husso out to play it. Nylander trying to make a turnover in the offensive zone is not able to do it. And now all of a sudden, Benoit is turnstiled. Oh, what a save by Wall. And oh my God, did Jeff Petrie just get his second goal? You let Jeff Petrie score on you twice? Man, that was some horrible defense by the Leafs. Drew says you should stop saying you feel good about the Leafs because every time you say it, they get a goal scored against them. And that's true. So 2 minutes into the period, we have 2 goals. You let Jeff Petrie, who's 4,000 years old, score on you twice. What the hell was that? Benoit just gets beat. And then Timmins overcommits. And Timmins has had a pretty off, like he'd been playing really, really well. I think that slide by Timmins was a really bad idea. You cover in front of the net. Benoit at least had somewhat of an angle on him. Don't go diving for a puck like that. That's rough, dude. That is so rough. That's terrible defense. Drew's asking if Jeff Petrie's ever had a hat trick. Do we think? I'm going to say yes, because he scored a bunch in Montreal, didn't he? Like when he was at his best, he was a high point producer, wasn't he? 40, 50 point guy. So what do we think, chat? Jeff Petrie. Is he a hat trick guy? Does he get one tonight? Oh, I'm so freaking mad at that. That makes me so... I would like to swear more, but I hope children aren't watching. I'm so mad about that. That was really bad defense. Not great from Benoit. Really not great from Connor Timmins. Guys, cover some people, man. Tie some people up. Yes, and Drew is pointing this out, but it is true. Jeff Petrie's first 2 goals of the season happened tonight. For F's sakes, guys. Do not lose the first game of a back-to-back against the team that's like third last in the conference. Come on. Ty Smith with 1 membership. Thank you, Ty. And by the way, thank you to everybody who is giving us a nice little ringing endorsement on the VIP episodes because they are wicked. They're fun. Cosmo Kramer, I'm going back to college for computer programming, so I'm pretty broke right now. But once OSAP hits, I'm getting an SDPN membership. Cosmo, thank you very much. Please spend your money wisely, though. OSAP is no joke. Education first, my friend. We would much rather you get a good education and have a wonderful, abundant life. You can subscribe to us. We'll always be here. You can subscribe to us later. You manage that budget, my friend. Jeff Petrie has never had a hat trick. Well, hey, listen, tonight's the night. Unless the Leafs start doing what I was saying that they should do going into this game, which is shooting the puck more. Going into this period, that is. Canadian Girl 83 just gifted 5 memberships. Hopefully, one of those goes to Cosmo. I don't choose who they go to. They just kind of get picked at random. Zoe has just become an STP VIP member. Welcome, Zoe. Enjoy. I hope you have a blast on that. Okay, here comes Bobby McMahon. He's got that speed, man. I love this guy. McMahon, Minton, Domi. The McMinty Domi. We got to figure out a name for that line if it works. But they need to kind of like work first. I do like Minton. I'm just not convinced totally yet that he's the third line guy going into the playoffs. Is he your JT Compher? I wonder if the Wings, if they fall out of it completely, if they would consider moving JT Compher. It's a hefty contract, but there's a lot of teams looking for centers right now, not just the Leafs. Maybe a Colorado reunion behind Casey Middlestat. What do you think, Drew? If the Red Wings retain. Tyson Barnett, the Max McMint line. The Crip Tua episode was great. VIP, that's the VIP episode. All week I've been binging CoffeeZilla, and to hear him being brought up was so cool. Yeah, I gotta check his channel out a little bit more. The MDM line, McMahon, Domi, Minton, all Canadian. True. 14:23 left in the third period, and all of a sudden, a game that looked to be kind of, hey, we're gonna have an exciting third period. Now the Leafs are down. And now we have to be anxious about it. Natalie, if you're still watching, it's okay to be anxious now, babe. Oh, MDMA line. Oh. Connor Timmins is going to the box because Jeff Petrie is playing forward again. Connor Timmins is having a bad third period, guys. This is probably the worst 6 minutes of Connor Timmins' season, right here. Tyler Durden, MDMA. Come on, Adam. Did you not do drugs as a youngin? Believe it or not, I did not do drugs. I only did the weed. Drew says, you're a shrooms guy for sure. I have tried shrooms one time in my life. One time. It was fun. I can't lie. But until it's legal, I will not recommend. It is sort of legal, though, isn't it? Like, there's literally a mushrooms store on my street. So it's got to be legal for somebody. It's kind of like when weed wasn't legal, but if you had, like, a doctor's prescription, you could get... You know what I mean? Remember that? That was a fun little facade, wasn't it? Sean Page is on the chat going, we need likes, and we need them now. Owen Hoy, Timmins is getting scratched next game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Philip Myers, welcome back to the show, baby. I would like to know where Yanni Hakanpää is. What's going on with that knee, Yanni? Hayden Matheson tried shrooms in Amsterdam. Next 8 hours was wild. That's legal there. The Knight Rider says, mushies are in the same gray area as weed was 10 years ago. There you go. Listen, I'm not on this channel advocating drugs, but I will say that MDMA as a line, like is funny. And I butchered it. And thank you to Drew for being here and picking up on that. 1:17 left on the Wings power play. Can the Leafs do me a favor and please move somebody in front of the net? They've kind of stopped doing that a little bit lately, and I'm not loving that. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me Philip F. and Myers. Yeah. Yeah. James Hetfield voice. Chantel Zeller. Too bad Everly isn't watching anymore, leading to some high quality lessons here tonight. Well, listen. I didn't do any of the scary stuff because I was afraid of it, to be honest with you. I did like my drinking, though, at one point, and never got too crazy, but, 18, 19, we partied. I just think, what the thing with me is that I don't love a hangover, so I don't drink much anymore. And I get hungover so easily. Leafs still on the PK. And the thing about marijuana is that you just end up having a good sleep. And I love a good sleep. Well, 10 seconds left on this power play. The Wings have had a ton of chances. This is crazy. Oh, here we go. Marner in on Husso. Oh, Husso shuts the door. Marner tried to go 5-hole on him. Man, Marner was well and clear away. Oh, no. Marner's just going to get up. Yo, DeBrincat fell like he was a crystal vase. That was unbelievable. Oh, my God. Oh, so Marner goes short, or he tried to go. Oh, okay. So Husso got the pad down, and then Marner tries to create a turnover here, and he just gets his stick caught in DeBrincat's left skate. So this is what we're not talking. People are talking about Matthews' game. They're talking about, Connor Timmins, the Leafs are 5-on-5, Berube style. They're scoring less goals. Here's the problem. You want to know the real problem? The Leafs take way too many penalties, guys. Way too many. And I don't know how many penalties they take in relation to other teams. I don't really care. I want it. You know what, Drew? Can we look up would it be Quant Hockey that would have the total penalties the Leafs had? I guess NHL.com would have shorthanded. Yeah. Like, how many times have the Leafs been shorthanded? Because, man, I would love to know where they rank in the league. Drew's looking it up. I don't even really care what it is in relation to other teams. They take penalties in bunches. There are periods where they're like 6-8 minutes shorthanded. It's way too much. Like, what are we doing here? Just drives me crazy. The Leafs have taken the 4th most penalties in the league. See, I was right. I didn't even know that, but I can tell you that. Drew says, can you guess who's number 1? I'm going to guess it can't be Detroit. I have a pretty obvious answer if I think about it. Boston? Boston is number 1. And you know what? Here's the thing with the Leafs. I don't feel like they've been hard done by the refs. And Mitch this is bad luck here. The Connor Timmins penalty was obnoxious. Like, what are you doing, Connor? And most of the time, when it's a stick or a hold or whatever, I'm like, what is the ref supposed to do with that, guys? The Leafs take way too many penalties, and you cannot tell me, it's the refs, they don't like the Leafs or whatever. It's not that. It's crap. They're just bad penalties, man. You cannot take those penalties. Canadian Girl 83, Adam, it's called getting old. I can't drink as much as I used to either. Hangovers suck. Well, you know what feels like a hangover? Watching the Leafs continue to be on the penalty kill. What are we doing? Steve just tweeted, stop making Jeff Petrie look like Paul Coffey challenge. It always happens, man. Lisa, LOL, the sass from Mitch. I think that was frustration. He chirps the refs a lot and maybe shouldn't. But I think that was more frustration than anything. And also, like I said, DeBrincat went down like a sack of potatoes. Like, if he had wanted to skate through that, he would have. But why would he? He just drew a penalty. I would have fallen too. Like, these are NHL players. They can skate through a trip like that. But again, why would you? Get yourself a power play. Try to put this game away. You're at home Saturday night, Detroit against the division rival. God, I hate it all. Holmberg and Nyes out there killing penalties. I've seen Nyes, certain members of the analytics community are giving Nyes a lot of crap these days. He just happens, or one member in particular, and I feel like we're cherry picking stats a little bit. I think Matthew Nyes has been very, very good. And he's like, well, he really benefits from playing with Matthews and Marner. It's like, yeah, man, so would I. Everybody does. You can't have 3 guys driving play on a line. And Drew brings up a good point here. He said also plenty of players have struggled in that spot for the Leafs. It's true. Like the only guys that really have made it work are Hyman, Bunting, and now Nyes. Everybody else just kind of hasn't stuck. I mean, Domi was good too, but that was when Matthews was not with Marner, right? They split them up. Oh, nice little turnover there by Mitchell, who then proceeds to pass and give it away. Mitch, please look. Please look. You're like playing out of your freaking skull, man. Just look where you're passing. He's amazing. Mitch Marner, he's amazing. David Owens, Leafs need a makeup call. I don't think the Leafs are forechecking enough to get a makeup call. That's the thing about, the people complain about the amount of penalties that, that the Leafs are like, or the amount of penalty or power plays the Leafs get, which is very low always. This year they've gotten more of them, but in past seasons, the reason that the Leafs never got the penalty calls that they wanted to get was because they were not a hard forechecking team. They were a dance around the blue line and hopefully get it by you sort of team that took forever to get set up. When you play like that, like go watch as Leaf fans, we don't watch enough hockey outside of Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. And you don't have to just watch like a random game. Like you don't have to watch Montreal and Ottawa play. Watch like a great team play. Watch Nathan McKinnon play. Watch Crosby play. Well, maybe not so much with the Penguins, but watch Minnesota play. Hard forecheck. And when you get defensemen turned around, guess what happens? They hold, they hook, they slash. Penalty calls. Easy. The Leafs have not been dumping and chasing the way that they normally have been this game. Part of that is because they've had like 6 penalties. And part of it is they just sometimes just don't do it the way that they need to. Hogwash asks, hey, Adam, if Minton keeps looking like he belongs and improving, who would your deadline target be? And what would your all-healthy lineup look like? Well, so if the all-healthy lineup is dressed, Minton, I think, has to be in it at this point. But Yarncroke is such a valuable piece. I don't know where he fits in, but I think you ease him in on the 4th line. It's hard to know who you'd bring out. Yarncroke also brings a little bit of offense too, so eventually I see him on the 3rd line. But I think if Minton if he surprises and he's like, in 20 games, you're like, man, we cannot take this guy out of the lineup. He's better than any guy that's out there that we could trade for. Then I think the Leafs are going to look for winger depth. I think they're going to look for scoring winger depth and potentially do you need a defensive upgrade? No, but could you go a little bit deeper? And yeah, maybe. I think winger depth, specifically left wing, they could probably use a little help. If there's any high-priced, high-end left wingers available on an expiring contract, you'd be silly not to take a look at that. Drew says you can't have Pacioretty on your 2nd line in the playoffs. Damn, Drew. I think noted agent Alan Walsh might have something to say about that, Mr. Drew. Drew says, great 3rd liner, too old to be a 2nd liner. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you look at the Leafs left side, what would have happened if they hadn't signed Pacioretty? Like McMahon was out, Nyes was injured. What would they have done? It would have been like Holmberg, Matthews, Marner. You need a little bit of winger depth. By the way, who's saying Pee-wee? Dude is playing out of his mind. I didn't say Marner was played like Pee Wee. I said he was playing amazing. SKR 13. If you skate harder than your opponent, you will draw more penalties and take less. It's not a new concept. Agreed. And they teach you that through every level. And you know who's skating hard right now? A very angry Mitch Marner. And we just had a shot. Matthews, it's moved aside by Billy Husso, but this is really, really good pressure for the Leafs. And they are running out of time. 7:47 left in the third period. Time to score some goals, boys. Pavel Bure. Would you trade Easton Cowan for JT Miller? I don't think the Leafs can afford JT Miller. So I think it's sort of a moot point. I don't think that they could put him in the cap. And also, like, Vancouver's not trading JT Miller. I don't care what they think is potentially wrong between him and Pettersson in that dressing room. You make that work. Because otherwise, the New York Rangers are going to offer you a boatload for that guy. Because they've already said they want a power forward like JT Miller, like Brady Tkachuk. You cannot help the Rangers if you're the Vancouver Canucks, and you will never get anything back that matches what JT Miller brings. So he's staying in Vancouver this year. The Canucks are better than they've shown, and they've been pretty damn good. Like, I'm very high on the Canucks. I think the Canucks are like, people are not paying enough attention to how dangerous that team is. Lankinen was such a great signing. And Demko being back, dude. Julian Nikolov, Brandon Saad, and Brock Nelson of the Leafs. Not Brandon Saad. I would definitely do Brock Nelson, though. I just don't know. I don't know who's going to be running the Islanders in 2 or 3 months. Like, Patrick Waugh doesn't like the lineup he's been given. Lou, there's rumors about him being on the hot seat. I don't know if there's any Isles fans in the chat that want to elaborate on that. But I don't think Lou may not be running this team by February. So it'll depend on what the new regime thinks that team is. Count me in as a Brock Nelson guy. Oh, Drew also says JT Miller's got a full no move clause, which isn't surprising. And so he'd have to waive it to go somewhere. I would imagine he would waive it to go to the Rangers, but I don't know about the Leafs, and also don't say that again, Drew. Yeah, he said the Rangers traded him to Tampa early in his career. I remember that, and he said he might hate them. I hope not. Hey, it's still New York, Drew. Still New York. Doesn't matter how mean the Rangers are. It doesn't matter how mean the Vegas Golden Knights are. It's still New York. It's still Vegas. I'm sure if Florida got cutthroat with their guys, it's still Miami. Sunrise. It's still Miami. Like, you're going to be able to get guys to be able to sign contracts there. Nobody cares. Dan Patrick, Brock would be good on the wing with JT and Marner. I would love Brock Nelson, man. I think he would be such a win if the Leafs were able to pick him up. I just don't know. Like, the Islanders are weird to me because they keep, for like the last 2.5 years, they've gone into the offseason knowing that they need to improve and then proceeded to, like, do nothing. Like, it's not fair to Anthony Duclair that you signed him expecting him to score every goal for you. You have no finish in your lineup. You've also got guys that are like 400 years old. Like, again, great athletes, but how many role player veteran Zach Parises can you have? Kyle Palmieri's can you have? I don't know. I just, they character's not an issue with the Islanders, but I think, and Lou would probably dispute this, it might be time for a new pair of eyes, new set of eyes looking at the project. I'm not saying Lou's done, but sorry, say that again. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Drew is going to out Nick Andrade and put this on the screen. I want you to have a look at this. Drew, let me know when it's up there. Okay, so this is Nick Andrade. This is producer Nick. of the CJ show, and he took a selfie of himself, and he said, "Watching this ass team." Good mustache, though. He's got a good mustache. Nick Andrade, who I am dying. I'm dying for him to jump in from time to time on the CJ show. He's one of the funniest people in the world, and I don't know if there's anybody that loves hockey more than Nick, or gets more stressed out, maybe other than my wife, about hockey games. His entire family are huge Leaf fans too, so it just feeds the beast. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I come from a family that doesn't really like hockey, except for my grandparents did. My mom wasn't crazy about it. My dad wasn't crazy about it. Oh, Pacioretty with a nice little move on Jeff Petrie there. Unable to finish, but I like it. Yeah, so I was like I wasn't really exposed to hockey growing up, and I just fell in love with it and started playing. I don't know why I was bringing that up. Why was I bringing that up? Nick's family are like ardent, hardcore sports fans. They're also big Liverpool fans, for anybody that's an EPL person. Oh, Marner. Tanev tries to keep it in. 4:51 left. So here's what's going to happen. You got the Matthews line out there now. They're going to try to make something happen. Then they're going to put Tavares and Nylander out there. And then my bet is they put the fourth line out there for like 30, 40 seconds. And then it is going to be all big boys the rest of the way until this game is tied up. The Leafs need a goal here. And here comes Nice little spin around. Oh, Marner is hooked pretty up high, but the ref is not going to call it because I don't know that hit his glove, so it would kind of make sense that was just a stick being tied up. Matthews forechecking hard there. Oh, that could be a holding call. Careful. Is Berube an early goalie puller? Yes, he can be. But I'm going to bet. Yeah, so they got Minton out there. So they got McMahon, Nylander, and McMahon's look good. And there's Domi. Okay, I thought they were going fourth line. They're going to give it to the third line. It's Domi, McMahon, Minton. They're going to get about a minute here. Nylander's out there. Minton is not. I wonder what they do here. Oh, nice little play by Willie Nylander. Making things happen. Nylander along the half boards. Domi down low. Trying to push it off of Petrie. This is good offensive zone time for the Leafs. It hasn't created a lot of opportunities yet. Timmins pinching. You know he'd like a goal after the first part of this period. Oh, the Leafs are opening up here. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was able to beat the Detroit Red Wing player to the puck there. But you're seeing the game open up just a little bit. Connor Timmins almost caught Oliver Ekman-Larsson in a change. Would not have been the best time. And here comes the fourth line for the Leafs. That's Holmberg. There's Dewar. Lorentz is on the puck. I knew they'd be out. They're not going to be out long, though. I think that third line was out there probably a little too long. William Nylander needs a little bit of a rest. You put Matthews, Marner, Nyes out there in the next 30 seconds, my bet. And then Nylander is your guy when you pull the goalie. Yeah, fourth line is already changing. Tanev dumping it in. Tanev and McCabe become the forwards there because the forwards were changing. And I think the Leafs gained the offensive zone faster than they thought they would. Matthews from the point. Down low, is that Lorentz? No. And that is going to be an icing call. Nope, it's waved off. 2 minutes to go in this game. Shots are 25-24 in favor of Detroit, who've had a great period. And they've taken advantage of the opportunities they've been given against the Leafs. Here comes Nylander dangling. Detroit are swarming the puck carrier, which is a great way to keep the puck away from the Leafs. 2 guys on the puck carrier. Force a bad pass. That's what they're trying to do. Marner along the half board. He's had a great game tonight. His stat line should be better. He had a goal taken back. He had a breakaway he probably should have scored on. Oh, and I think we got an icing call. So yeah, we got an empty net here. Not an icing call. 1 minute left. Marner, or 1 minute 15 left. Marner takes a look at the scoreboard just to have a look at the time. They got to move. This game is ending very quickly, and the Leafs are doing a lot of passing, not a lot of shots. They do not have time to mess around here. Wylde out, shot from the point, hits a leg, into the corner. Marner blocks it. And Wylde is back out at center. There is 47 seconds left to go. Empty net for the Leafs. The Leafs still have not had a shot in the last 2 minutes. They've not had a shot in the last 2 minutes. Reminder, Detroit is third last in the Eastern Conference. Only Ottawa and Montreal are worse. This is a game that the Leafs need to win. You need to win games like this. Detroit fires it down the ice, and that is an icing call. 21.1 seconds left. And there's going to be a Toronto Maple Leafs timeout here. SLS, notice how the Leafs play better when Adam had a mustache. Well, yeah. You know what? I haven't loved the Leafs game for the last week and a half. I really haven't. I want to say that. I just want to say that for the record. I haven't loved it. I think that they that weird stretch at the end of November where they played like no games. Once they came out of that, it was just not awesome. It wasn't awesome. And by the way, they have like 6-7 games left in this, next 2 week stretch. They got a lot of hockey to play. Yeah, so this would be the second Saturday in a row the Leafs have lost. They lost to Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pain, suffering. Gravely Diggs, I'm Natalie level stressed. Oh man, Natalie's probably like in the fetal position somewhere at our house. Sean Page wants us to get to 500 likes. I'm sure we will. It'd be nice if they won the game though, wouldn't it? Okay, at least win the draw. Matthews. Okay, we got to stop passing. Shoot the puck, boys. Shoot the puck. 15 seconds to go. Do you guys know where the clock is? Come on. Oh, shit. Okay, game's over. Shit. Man, honestly, they did this to themselves. They played themselves into this. Unacceptable. You just gave Ville Husso his first effing win of the year. Yeah, I can't even lie. I'm pissed. You gave Ville Husso his first win of the year. You gave Jeff Petrie 2 goals. Might be the only 2 goals the guy gets all year. Like, and here's the thing. The last 15 effing seconds, what do? They're passing the puck around again. This stuff drives me insane. 1.6 seconds left. They run it out. This is, listen, I get it. It's Saturday, December 14th. I get it. They're first in the division. I get it. But it's every year I say this, and every year I get kickback from Leaf fans who are like, oh, you need to stop being so hard on them. When you lose to teams like Detroit, to teams like Ottawa, to teams like Montreal, all teams that they have lost to this year, when you lose to them, you throw away valuable points. And what happens at the end of the season is, oh man, it's so crazy. Man, the Florida Panthers are so good. The Boston Bruins are so good. The Lightning are so good. All those guys have won a division in the last 5 years. The Leafs won the All-Canada division. Whatever. Toss that in the trash. Who cares? How do they do it? They beat good teams and they stomp bad teams. I know you're going to lose a few bad games. I get that, but it's driving me crazy. And this is a problem that's gone back years. How many times they yield points to bad teams. And even though the playoff seeding is stupid in the NHL, and it is, nobody likes it except for Gary. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. It is what it is. You're not going to change it. You're not going to change it. In the last, you said last 13, Drew? So in the last 13, you got a Sens loss, you got a Pens loss, and now you got a Wings loss. And you're like, well, it's just 3 losses. It's 6 points, guys. 6 points. And I don't know if you've looked at the standings lately, but there are a bunch of teams at the top of their division that are into the 40-point realm. The Leafs are not. They're at the top of the division for now. But Florida is going to fight them the whole way. You can't yield points like this. And they know it. That's why Mitch was shaking his head at the end of the game. You guys all saw that, right? The Leafs know it, man. They know it. And it's not one player. It's not, oh, Matthews, the plays are dying with Matthews, or he doesn't care. It's not Willie's floating in the zone. This is a couple of things. This is guys coming back from injuries, and the lineup has been injected with a whole bunch of new talent, and nobody knows what their role is. This is a lack of depth scoring, and this is a lack of adherence to the things that made you successful. When Matthews was out and Marner, Nylander, Tavares were dominating, what were they doing? Simple. Dump and chase. Defense were moving guys out from in front of the net. They were playing good defense. And they got a little bit of depth scoring. The depth scoring is a real problem. That's why I still think they need to make a trade for a centerman that's going to drive scoring. Brock Nelson, Ryan O'Reilly. And I need for guys who are playing roles not to take dumb penalties. Simon Benoit is a quick whistle every game. We saw it against the Ducks. We saw it here with Connor Timmins. Another quick whistle. Guys, you're playing the third set of defense here, like you're the third line defense. Stop taking penalties. Stop taking penalties. Stop doing it. Stop. The Leafs are the 4th most penalized team in the league. And we wonder why they can't get any depth scoring. Depth players aren't even playing. It's insane. This drives me bonkers. And what drives me crazy really is not that they lost. It's that they lose like this and that they're capable of so much more. You've seen it. I've seen it. To me, the thing that bothers me is that this is the best team that I've seen them be. This is the best defense I've ever seen them have. Ever. Like, I'm talking right back to Gilmore. I've never seen them have better defense. Say that again. Sorry, Drew. The poll in the chat. I didn't see the poll. What does it say? Give it to me. See Showtime. You can't tell me Matthews isn't the problem. They play far more free without him. Toss him on waivers. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Who we blaming tonight? The Leafs, refs, or Adam's mustache? You can blame whatever you want. It is the Leafs players. Yeah, Drew, bring up the deserve to win a meter. Let's just bask in the glory of the deserve to win a meter. Wow, really? It's 51.5 to 48.6. See, this is what's so okay. Let's have a look at the deserve to win a meter here for a sec. Okay. So you're looking at it. I'm looking at it. You know what the problem with this is? You look at that and you go, oh, that's a pretty even game. Could have gone either way. You know what the problem with that is? It's Detroit. It's Detroit. It shouldn't be an even game. It should be a Detroit snuck one out on the Leafs and the Leafs should have stomped them. It's Detroit. Drew wants me to guess what the expected goals were in the game. I'm going to guess. Is it weird to say that I think Detroit would have won the expected goals 5-on-5? But you know what? I'll say expected goals in Detroit's favor 5 to 3.5 to the Leafs. What do we have, Drew? He's looking it up. Drew's going to bring it up on screen. Detroit wins it. I knew it. I called it. Detroit wins the expected goals battle. And guess what? They scored less than they expected. So did the Leafs. You know why, though? It wasn't down on the shots, man. The Leafs were not getting... we talked about it at the beginning of the third period. There was the slot chances. The Leafs had 18 minutes of possession time in the O-zone. Detroit had 13 minutes of possession time in the O-zone. But the slot shots were 9 Detroit, 10 Toronto. So you have a 5-minute difference in O-zone time. You know what Detroit was with their time? Efficient. They were efficient. Toronto was, yeah, we'll get it back in their own zone, and we'll look for the right pass. It's just driving me crazy. Anyway, does anyone have any questions? I would love to know what your questions are. You can hit me up with some questions. We'll do a quick press conference here, and then I am going to go and record a Cam Fowler video. Cocky laughs, disrespected their opponent. Sean Page, LFR is going to be good tonight. I know Steve will go a little crazy. This is a game you get mad about. Like, there are games where you go, okay, it's not my favorite, but I get it. This is a game you get mad about. This is a game you should be frustrated by. If you're frustrated right now, that's normal. Sherwin, thanks for the points, Adam. It's the no mustache for sure. Arisha says, I asked a super chat earlier. I don't know where I missed you there, but I will go look for it. Drew, are you able to pull that one up? Apparently I missed Arisha. Oh, yeah. I did answer that one. 7 sloppy games is a time to ask questions about Austin Matthews. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's how they play with Austin in the lineup. They look for him too much. You can look for him. You need to look for him. Don't look for him too much. And there's a balance there. And people go, well, what is the balance? How can you expect that these guys make $10 million, man? I don't know. Figure out the balance part. You're making over 10. Come on. Profit asks, how much will it cost for an O'Reilly or a Nelson? A second, a first? I think it would be a first round pick. But O'Reilly hasn't had a great year. I haven't checked on Brock Nelson, but he was sluggish. I think it's going to be more expensive than you'd like. If you win the cup, you don't care. I don't think they want to give up a first round pick. So I think what the Leafs would probably do is try to package some sort of like seconds and thirds from a few years from now. But yeah. It will cost Cowan and a first. No, it will not. Lethal Tobinator. O'Reilly does not want to play for the Leafs. Okay, so that's a misnomer. Yes, he doesn't love the spotlight, but he had an identical offer from the Leafs and the Preds, and he took the Preds one because it was tax-free and the media was less. But what's interesting about O'Reilly's contract with Nashville is there is zero trade protection. So zero trade protection. That was a double negative. So that means he can get traded anywhere. Drew is asking if the Leafs come back tomorrow, when the Leafs come back tomorrow at 5 p.m., that's 19 hours from now, will they smoke the Sabres? I hope so. I hope they come back angry and pissed that they let this happen. I hope Berube peels paint on the walls in that dressing room tonight. I really do. Canadian Girl 83, do you wish you were a fly on the wall for the Leafs dressing room right now? Yeah, I do. I think Berube is going to give it to them a little bit. Lethal Tobinator, the Leafs should get Anthony Beauvillier. No, they shouldn't. Yeah, I think that this is one of those games you got to look back on and go, that was disappointing and frustrating. However, they are still a very good hockey team. And so when they don't live up to expectations, you go, man, that's what's frustrating about it is this is a great team and they're not living up to expectations. We're going to wrap though. Drew and I need to record a video, and then Drew has got to do the LFR. So Drew's got a lot to do tonight. I'm sorry, Drew. And Justin has given up his Saturday night yet again to be here. Justin, we love you. Robert has given up his Saturday night to be here yet again. We love you. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I'm sorry we didn't have a better result. I think that's my first loss this season with the Leafs. Boo, hiss, tomato, tomato. But you know what? There's a Buffalo game in less than 20 hours. I will not be streaming that one, but I will be with you in spirit. I love you, Gripper Nation. Thank you for joining me. And don't forget to come back on Wednesday because that's my next stream. It's going to be Leafs versus the Dallas Stars, who struggled a little bit this year. Still very good, though. Thanks again to Drew, to Justin, and to Robert, and I hope you guys have a great night.